the bar to work out, so I'll be here listening. So
Okay.
carry on with the program. Fantastic.
Yeah. This will be the first broadcast that I've done on this channel, so it's cool. You'll be on this first broadcast, Biner.
Mm.
Yeah, I loaded a bunch of the old ones. I was going to talk about today, like what we have as our resolutions for the new year.
Be more of a faggot.
That's not very
triggering triggering more fifis.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the? Oh,
Yeah,
I was gonna show you something here. I'm trying to find it. I pissed off this gay dude like a while back.
that's not
And,
hard to do.
Yeah, well, at first he was hitting on me because he thought I was a gay dude like him, and then
Yeah.
I was not interested at all. He's not my type, even if I was gay. And so I wasn't publicly trans at the time now, and then I told him I was like, I'm trans, and he flipped a shit and instantly started fucking like having a go at me because of it. And
Yeah.
so I did it. I kind of just like was like, fuck off, go, you can just, off you go,
Yeah.
You
Have a
can.
nice day.
I've had enough. I've had enough of your shit now, mate. He kind of had to be ejected from one of the groups I ran because he was such a dick to everyone, and I wouldn't remove him because he was being a dick to me, but he was a dick to everyone else. And I was like, okay, well, if you guys don't want him here, then I don't want him here. You're gone. And
Yeah, I
he's done
sometimes
this.
do that on my pages as well. When I get some like person that comes in there and they don't really say anything to me, they just start getting on everybody's comments and saying shitty stuff. I'll just go in and block them, and I'll be like, dude, get the fuck out of here. Nobody wants to hear your stupid shit.
Yeah, I'm over him. So I bumped into him again on another comment section, and literally the entire comment section is on his ass. Like you can see it in the video I did of it. It's like like oh my god, he doesn't have any fucking friends in that section at all, and it doesn't make matters fucking better for himself because he's like, oh, I'm not a dick to anyone. I'm awesome, and it's like no, the entire fucking forum's telling you a dick. Other forums I've been in, they've kicked you out for being a dick. You're a fucking dick, all right?
Yep.
So I made a video about it, and a whole bunch of people that I didn't even know. Like I met a tranny the previous night, or at least a potential tranny. She's she's kind of okay. Oh, okay. It looks like you plus won the video. It's the one where I said come and watch as I prove I'm queen bitch. That guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I invited the tranny girl, at least the very feminine dude on there is a guy who's considering transition, and he's fucking he's still on the fence about it, so I'm just kind of giving him information, but he just couldn't hack the fucking this guy's bullshit, and I met him like I started talking to him the previous night. So when someone you randomly meet on the internet's like, I know that fucking dickhead, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, we're live. I didn't realize that. I didn't want to gab on about some fucking faggot I'm dealing with. Sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
I'll let you get started then.
Yeah, I was just wanting to see what your plans for the new year are.
Sure.
For me, I'm starting this new channel. I actually started it on the 1st of January at like 12:30, and I had a lovely time. It took me about an hour to get everything done and get all my stuff verified through my cell phone and all that bullshit. And then I uploaded 3 videos that were in my computer from the other channel from live streams that I had done. And I had to go out and grab the other videos off my other channel. So I got out of my thing, and while those were loading, I went onto my other channel and I started grabbing those and putting them in the encoder and bringing them down and putting them into my computer. And then when I logged back onto my channel, it said that my video was flagged for offensive content.
What?
Yeah, and the channel had been up for like less than 2 hours, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And it said like acknowledge or something, and I just pushed like okay or whatever, like I acknowledge it, whatever. So I just acknowledged it, and then I went and I started like uploaded like another 15 videos to my channel from the other channel that were just the live streams. And then I went back out and I did a bunch of other stuff, and then I came back in and I went on the live part, and I realized that where the live part, because I had already set up a Google thing that I was going to start broadcasting, you know, today. So I'd already set up a whole thing so that I would have a live hangout today, and I went on my live my live hangout in YouTube, and it said my cards weren't able to be seen. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? I just opened this channel. It's been open for like less than 3 hours. So I went on there, and all the videos that I loaded, which were like 2-hour long streaming videos, it said all those videos were over 15 minutes and I couldn't load them, and I wasn't verified and all this bullshit, which I actually verified Google Plus and YouTube at the same time. You know, so I went through all the bullshit. It took me an hour to do all that shit, and then they fucking blocked me on. And I looked on my thing. It was the very first video I loaded, the very first video I put on there. So I went on there and I contacted Google Plus, I contacted YouTube, and then I did another one to Google Plus and another one to YouTube. And within the first 5 hours of me having this channel up, I went from having the channel, having a strike, and then not having a strike. So it's just the first 5 hours. So that was that's how I started my first channel this year here. But what I want to do with this channel is just try to get it bigger and bigger this year, and I'm going to plan on having a lot of like gaijins from here in Japan get on and talk about like their lives here in Japan, and I hope to start doing maybe like 3 or 4 live hangouts a week, you know, so that I just like fill this channel up with like live hangouts of basically MGTOW content and talking about feminism and trying to put out like a lot of stuff, you know, on this channel. I want to do like some interviews, like street interviews, where I start talking to like Japanese women and see what they think the herbivore men are, because most of them are like, they just don't like to talk to women. They're just like shy and they have no fucking clue what they're talking about. So I really want to kind of wander around and see what Japanese men have to say about their ex-marriages and stuff like that. Find out all this the dirt, as it were.
Yeah. See, my plans for my channel this year is actually doing a rebranding over the course of the whole year, just very, very slowly as I go.
Yeah.
I figured if doing it all at once would just fucking exhaust me. So it's like if I just that's why my the video I was just talking about is the season finale. I was just waiting for a fucking opportunity to end that thing and start another show that's going to replace it called Retard or Troll, where it's going to be a community thing where I invite 2 people on, and they know who we're talking about in advance. What they don't know is who they're going to be arguing for. Basically the person I choose for them to talk about. They get like a couple of days beforehand to do some research, and they can only use their videos and any public-facing stuff about them that they've released to argue if they're a retard or if they're a troll. And it's not whether or not they're right, it's whether or not I fucking believe them. So it's going to be a live debate, and I think that's going to be fun.
Yeah. So
yeah, I was waiting for the opportunity to end my old show, Idiots on the Internet, because it's had a good run. It's been around for a year, and I thought, well, I should go out with a bang, and this fucking idiot like decides to like basically give me fucking exactly what I asked for, drops it right in my fucking lap, and I'm like, oh, I couldn't have fucking asked Santa for a better fucking gift, man. Thank you. Good job, dipshit. The best part is he felt like proving my point by going into my comments section and proving it some more. And yeah, and he's just earning me more subscribers because someone actually contacted me like, oh my god, the comment that guy left is fucking great. I'm just gonna wait here and just get my fucking put my feet up and enjoy.
Yeah, I'm actually on the YouTube page as well, and it has a live chat. It's supposed to have a live chat. Anyways, I don't see it coming up though. It says hi.
I
Hi.
do. I can type in
Oh,
something.
here we go.
when I'm done.
Yeah, there we go. It says something.
Hmm?
It says say something on my thing.
Okay. Oh, hang on, sorry. I'm actually out of my room. I'm getting some stuff on my hands, so they're not so dry.
It told me to say something, so I said something. I was like, okay, I'll say something.
See, I've been having problems with Facebook lately. It seems like their fucking servers are shit.
Yeah. Well, they got so many people on the damn thing anymore. There's like fucking 60 billion people on the goddamn thing. You know, almost
Oh.
everybody in the world has a fucking, thing. So.
Yeah, it's just it's like in the last 2 weeks, it seems it's really gone to shit. It's making it so where I don't even want to fucking use it. In order to send, it refuses to send certain messages sometimes, and I know they have a censorship filter on their messenger, but it keeps telling me, oh yeah, I'm not connected to the internet. I'm like, dude, yes I fucking am. I'm watching gay porn in the next fucking tab. You're trying to tell me I'm not on the internet. Fuck out of here.
I know they're always pulling that shit. It's like, come on, man.
I know, try to blame it on me. I know what the fuck's going on, motherfucker. I'm stupid.
Oh, Ego, where's Ego?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So my plans are,
I didn't see your avatar, so I was like, where's he? I seen you were in the comment section. It said, hey. I was like, where's he at?
well, I think both your plans are really good, actually. My plan for this year is I've been getting a lot of awesome comments on my videos saying that they just bring a breath of fresh air to the MGTOW movement. And so I've already, because I have two channels, I do something called Simply Handsome 247, where I basically go around London taking pictures of guys because they're more approachable than women videos and putting that up to show men, to give men confidence, to give some of the younger guys a lot of confidence. But what's been happening over the year, I've done quite a lot of videos on that channel and also on the Ego Blossom channel, but I've now decided to focus more on Ego Blossom, so I'll be putting up like one video a week on Wednesdays, because just to get the stuff together, and because I'm quite artistic in how I've got to do things, I don't like to rush. I can only do one video a week, so I'll see how that goes. And I tend to be more sociable on Google and Google Hangouts and discuss with other people, because really and truly I'm very busy. On top of that, I don't really like to get into these sort of quagmires of people with similar opinions but arguing on it's quite ridiculous to me. But yet again, it's like a double-edged sword. You want to be out there, you've got good things to say to people, you want to bring people together as a positive thing. So I suppose it's the sacrifice one has got to make, as well as that, training like a madman all the time. And that's it, really. Just getting out there more, walking around with my bow tie, with my handlebar moustache, and just having an awesome time, really. And that's it.
Yeah, I'm hoping in this new year, I'm hoping besides my channel, I'm right now I'm waiting, probably in the next week or two I'll find out if I'm going to get a Japanese citizenship, a refugee status. And if I do get that, then I'm going to start doing on my other channel, my trans channel, I'm going to start talking about the way a lot of people can come to Japan under the trans guise. Because when you come here, if you're trans, you don't have to. Nobody really cares if you're trans here. They're not going to kill you. They're not going to beat you up. They leave you alone. The most you'll get if you're a guy dressed up in a dress or something is just people looking at you going, well, that guy's kind of weird, but they never even say anything to you. They're not going to talk to you. They're not going to tell you you're an abomination to God, or they just don't have any of that bullshit here. So it's kind of nice. So it's a good place to live, and the stuff that you have to do to become trans, all the medicines and stuff are pretty readily available here, and you're just a stone's throw away from going to Thailand to grab cheap stuff if you want to go over there and grab boob jobs and shit like that if you want.
See, I remember this year's actually gonna suck for that, because I'm going to So I have to go to San Fran to get my shit done because that's where my health insurance covers it.
Oh, that's
Basically.
nice. At least you're
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
it in America. I would like to be able to get it in America, but shit, a
Mhm.
fucking SRS surgery over there costs like fucking $60,000.
Yeah, that's why I'm glad my health insurance covers it because I mean I'm not getting full SRS though. That's the thing. I'm just getting I'm getting the very basic bottom surgery, which for those who don't know, it's basically castration.
Yeah.
And I don't know when exactly it's going to be. I'm going to push for sooner rather than later because I'm just sick of waiting. I think I've gone through enough. I think I've gone through enough hoops at this point. I've done literally everything that's asked of me and more. I don't think I'm fucking sitting on the fence at this point. So I just got to literally call what's her face Marcy Bowers, the trainee doctor that used to be out here in Colorado, and then do all her prerequisites. I basically did my research over the Christmas period because I was at my mom's place in Oklahoma, which was really really weird for a tranny.
Yeah, I remember you said you were going to go. What happened with your parents? You said that was the first time you were going back as trans.
Yeah, I saw my mom. It went really well.
Did you have to? You didn't butch it up for her or anything?
No, I did. I totally fucking femmed the whole time, and
Cool.
I can show you after the live stream. I don't know what your bandwidth's like, but I got my ears pierced, and that was awesome. My mom paid for that because that was the only thing I asked for Christmas.
Yeah, I had one piercing in my ear back in the '90s, and I went and I bought a Chinese ear piercing kit, and I couldn't bring myself to like use the gun on my ear, and I was like, I don't want to do it because I used it a few times, and I was like, I don't know, what if it doesn't work, and what if it like it just stabs like into my ear but doesn't actually go all the way through, and I was like, I don't want to do that. Yeah, so I was like, because it's some Chinese fucking shit, but it came with like deals that you can pierce your ear with that have kind of like really sharp, pokey things to do your ears. So I had the one ear that was already pierced, and I thought, well, I'll just re-pierce that one again. And I just put it on that ear and gave it barely any pressure, and because that one had been pierced, but I had more an earring in like probably 12 years at least, it went right through, just pop. I was like, whoa. I was like, cool, now I got one. Then I had to do the other one, and I went to the other side, and I pierced that ear, and it took a little bit more, but it wasn't that big of a deal, and I got both my ears pierced myself right here at my computer.
Yeah, my mom wanted to go to Claire's or some shit like that, and I talked to actual women about this, and they're like, no, don't do that. Go to a tattoo parlor. And there's the reason for that is because they have to like abide by health codes typically.
Yeah.
Not always.
Plus, when you go to a lot of the places like Claire's and stuff like that, they'll have like just like earrings that are in a box. They'll just like pull them out and they'll stick them in a thing. They're not sanitized, and you can very easily get. That's why a lot of times you'll go to those places and you end up with like infections in your ears and shit like that because they don't actually clean this stuff. Like when I got these things, I put them in a little bowl with some alcohol, and then after I got them out of the alcohol, I let them sit in there overnight, and then I got them out of the alcohol and I hit them with a lighter,
Okay.
Like that. And then I stuck them in my ear after that. After I cleaned them again with some alcohol, after I lit them up on and stuff, that gets rid of all the stuff. Then you have to wipe your ears so that you don't have any like stuff that's going to get into your inside of your ear and then cause an infection and all that kind of shit. So I did all that, but they don't do that at those places. Sometimes they don't even wipe your ear with like, cotton balls or anything with some fucking alcohol on them. They just kind of like mark where it's going to be at, and then they just kind of stab it with the thing. They just put the gun on it and just stab it, and then you end up with like infections and stuff. So when you go to the tattoo parlors, they got the alcohol and sterilizers and all this kind of bullshit, and they do it kind of like almost surgically, whereas you go to those places where they're going to put a kid's earrings in and they don't give a fuck. They just kind of stab something in your ear and there you go, give me $15.
Yeah, tattoo parlors have to go by their reputation a lot. They don't. I've been told by people who get tattoos done avidly that any tattoo parlor that advertises is a bad place to go. So although I did go on Google reviews, and I could look up all the tattoo parlors in where I was at.
Yeah, you can get on Yelp, get on one of those Yelp pages and find out where the good ones are at.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, read up on what people are actually saying on it. And this place was actually really good. Oh fuck! Sorry, I'm making a cup of tea. It's really early here for me. I need some form of caffeine in my system. The lifeblood.
Yeah,
But
I'm
yeah,
drinking chai tea. My last cup of chai tea. I got to make some more, but I'll do it tomorrow. It's already like 11:22 over here right now, so I'll do it tomorrow.
um, my um, my mom was actually pleasantly surprised when she saw me. She was like, "Oh yeah, you look so good" and shit like that. But the thing that really took the cake for me was I met my stepdad's family, and they're kind of really really religious. And so
How was that?
they were polite enough. I'll say that they were.
Yeah.
One of them didn't come because he has Parkinson's, and he felt embarrassed by being around strangers. And
Yeah.
I was like, I don't give a shit. I have a physical disability too that I don't call attention to, so
Yeah.
people don't really notice it. But it was they were nice enough. In fact, what was it? I forget the familiar relationships. My stepdad's mom, she she kind of pulled my mom to one side, and she's like, "Hey, I don't know what kind of boy your son made, but she makes a beautiful lady." And I was like, "Oh, it'd be better if you could have said it to my face." But that was, whatever, I'll take it.
Yeah, exactly. Any comments
Yeah.
are yeah, when you get anybody to say like, "Wow, you're," and like sometimes if they knew you before and then they know you afterwards, and they're like,
Uh-huh.
"You seem so much nicer now and so much calmer and like not so angry," you're
Oh
like,
yeah.
"Thanks. I'm glad somebody noticed."
Yeah, that actually, if I get that a lot actually. I used to be one
Yeah,
crazy bastard, and
yeah.
now I'm not so much. I'm more fucking
Yeah,
reserved.
we find that a lot. Like I say, I'm a
Mhm.
psychologist, and we find that a lot. Sometimes girls or boys, that are like really outspoken and they jump around in class and they don't pay
Mhm.
attention and they're mad and stuff. It's usually if you sit them down and you ask them stuff like that, you usually find out their parents aren't letting them dress the way they want. Really, they feel like a girl, but they're afraid to say that because their
Mhm.
parents like tell them they can't say that. And it's kind of sad, but a lot of the kids end up being like that. And then after they are allowed to transition, the kids calm down, they sit down in class, they pay attention, they're very good students and stuff. It happens like all the time.
Mhm.
there's
Yeah,
so
looking
many
back.
there's so many stories of things happening like that where some kid was just they could barely get him to like at the house, they could barely get him to like pay attention, and they were beating up their siblings, and they wouldn't eat, and they'd throw stuff around, and they'd throw tantrums all the time, and then after their transition they were like a completely different person.
Yep, it's amazing how much calmer I feel, and I'm really fucking happy for it.
Hmm.
In fact, I got to talk to my nan about that. She's got to make peace with her because she's like 70 odd, and she's got leukemia, so her time is approaching.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of that was one of the things she asked me. She's like, "Are you much happier?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm really calm now." She's like, "Oh, that's good because you're always like fucking angry." I'm like, "I know."
Well, that makes you angry when you have to hide who you really are, try to
Hmm.
butch it up for everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is exactly why I need feminism. Oh.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's why I need feminism, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can be a lesbian. Yeah, there you
Oh God. I did talk to my mom about fucking the whole gender identity shit like that. I did talk to her about MGTOW. That was an interesting conversation.
go. Oh, with your mom?
Yeah,
Ooh,
with my mom.
gave her the red
She
pill?
Yeah, yeah. I'll do it. Yeah, well, even before I started really saying my side of shit, she asked me because she watches my videos. She doesn't quite
Oh,
get
okay.
what is in there, and
Yeah.
like I mean, she doesn't watch the gameplay ones. That's not her interest. But she watches the social commentary ones, and she's like, "So, can you explain to me a few things?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then before I even start
Always a
talking,
bad sign.
oh, I kind of
What's your
explained to her.
video? Can you explain to me something? Oh, yes, mom. Yes.
Yeah. Well, no, she's actually really proud of me
Yeah.
for standing up for something that I believe in. And so she may not understand it, but she believes that I understand it, and that's good enough,
Yeah.
you know. And so she was like, "So what's all this shit?" And she's going into it, and before I even said anything, she started, she started, saying about, she basically sounded like a hardcore MRA. She's like, men really do need some help. The boys in school, they're falling behind the shit. I'm like, wait, have you been doing research behind my back, Mom? And then we had a conversation about second and third wave feminism because she grew up in second wave, and so she was giving me her perspective on things, and it was actually really interesting and productive conversation.
Oh, that's cool.
But you can't convince the normies, feminists. Sorry.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping this year to get my citizenship so that I can stay in Japan and get my work situation and job stuff situated. And then I'm hoping in the next, I had my friend that I had in the U.S. I've known him since I was here before when I was exporting cars, and he went to Arizona and went to the SEMA show, and he found some guys finally after me being here for like 10 months in Japan. He found some guys that wanted to import Skylines, and now he said he was going to be gone like the week before last, but then after that he was going to start working on getting everything arranged. He wanted me to send him some information about what it was going to cost to ship everything so that he could put it on a website and all that stuff. So I sent him all the information, and he haven't heard back from him and stuff. So I'm just waiting for to hear back from that, because if he can find somebody that buys like one car, I make my profit on that is like $2,500 to $3,000 per car. And if I can get him to get a 40-foot container, I can get 2 half cuts and 4 cars in the container, which means I've got like $20,000 profit right there.
Nice. I hope it works out.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping he gets some guys that want to, like, he said something about they had a place to store cars and all this stuff. So if they can get like $100,000 together, they could buy like 5 or 6 cars. I could send them like 2 or 3 containers, and that's all they'd need. With $100,000, they could get probably 2 40-foot containers with 4 half cuts and 8 cars, and that off of that they would make almost like, well, they're going for like Skyline GTRs are going for $30,000 a pop right now. So if they got like 8 Skylines at 30 grand a pop, I mean that's a hell of a lot of money, and then they could turn around and get like 4 containers. And I'd fucking within 6 months of them doing that, I'd have $1 million.
Sure.
So I'm hoping shit starts kicking off here pretty quickly.
Oh man, I'm hoping to kick off some shit myself. I'm being a little bit more aggressive this year. I actually ordered some shit on Amazon just to intentionally antagonize the SJWs.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I'm being very brazenly confident about it because I know that pisses them off even more. So I'm just poking the shit out of them.
I was thinking about starting a new like funny comedy type thing, like with a dildo, like a suction cup dildo. Like what uses what else can you use a dildo for? And I was going to go around and like stick it on the refrigerator and open the refrigerator. Use it. You can use it as a handle on the refrigerator. Just like go around like if you got like a pot of soup, you like touch the soup pot and go like, damn, that's hot. And then stick the dildo on there and like pick the top off the soup and stir it. Stuff like that. Just comedy shit, just to make shit go, man, this guy's crazy. I thought about like what else can you use it for, and like they have like a hole down the center of them, so like you can go outside and like put them on a bike, put them on like the handlebars of the bike, and use them as like grips. Where they have like balls. There's like balls hanging on both sides of your handle grips, and you're like put them on your handle grip, and then you ride off down the street with it, and like have people go, "What the fuck is wrong with this guy?"
That's funny as fuck.
Yeah, because I found a place on eBay that has like these suction cup dildos for like, they were like $8.
Oh wow!
They were like cheap as fuck. So I thought about getting some of them, and then like doing like a comedy series on my trans channel of like what can you do with a dildo, you know, something like that, and then like have some really just silly things that I do with the dildo, where I like have a piano and I can like open the piano with my dildo and like
You can play the piano with your dildos.
yeah, exactly, stuff like that, you know, to where I have like a ways to pick things up where I have like two dildos and like show like a fake thing where I'm like climbing up the wall with like dildos and stuff. And then in the background you hear like explosions and stuff, and you hear like Arnold saying, "Get to the van! Get to the chopper!" I'm climbing up the wall. You see that, you hear that stuff in the background, and then you see me climb by the camera with like two dildos up the wall. You know, just silly stuff like that. I thought that would be really funny.
You mentioned the Arnold shit. That reminded me of a couple of years ago, or maybe it was just a year ago. I'm not sure exactly when. Jean-Claude Van Damme released a whole bunch of like free green screen footage in the public domain.
Oh, really?
Just to have people put him in a bunch of random shit, and I want to try my hand at that, see if I can cut it together with. I was gonna do with Soul Calibur, but that would actually get me into a legal issue. Namco Bandai really doesn't like people using their footage, so I won't be featuring them on my channel probably ever, at least until their policies weaken up. You know, it's fair use if you're fucking taking the piss, mate. I'm sorry. Or if you're doing a commentary on the fucking game you're playing, then I don't need that kind of hassle from them. But that was what I wanted to do. So I'm trying to find a video game to kind of splice in with it, where he's in the fucking game, and that'd be sweet as fuck. Just as a practice to do green screening, because
I'd like to do some green screen stuff. Like that would be funny to do it in my house, where I have like a green screen, and then I do like that stuff with the dildos, where it looks like I'm climbing up the wall, and then
there you go.
You hear in the background like, you know, Arnold, and then like have him like doing something like a fight scene out of some movie or something like that, and have him like yell, and I'm like, he's saying like, "Get to the chopper," you know, or something, and then I'm like doing that, you know, get like a scene out of Predator. You know?
Yeah, if you cut it together well enough, it'll be fucking.
Yeah, because that would be like people would obviously watch it. I'd have like I'd probably go viral with some stupid shit like that, because people would click on it because it said, "What can you do with like dildos? What can you do with a dildo?" You know, and then they would get on my scene, and they would see that whole scene play out, you know, and they'd be watching it, and they'd be like, "What's up with the dildo? He said something about dildos. What's up with that?" And then you see this green screen footage of me climbing by the camera with like dildos. You know? And then people would be like, "What the fuck did I just watch?" You know, I think that'd be so hilarious. People would laugh their asses off of stuff like that.
You could like do a bit where someone's trying to get away, and you know the bolos, you throw the bolos at people, and it fucking makes them trip over or whatever. You could like use the dildo as a fucking bolo, but like, yeah, and just fucking chuck it, and it like trips them up.
Well, I have like a professional drafting board in my house, and I thought about having like when you get down to like a really small pin, like a really small pencil, and you can't sharpen it anymore, or after you sharpen it, you can't hold it. So I would do that. I would like have that on camera, where I would just be like sitting at the board, and I would be drawing something, and I'd have my whole thing where I'm making something out on the drafting board, and then I would be trying to write, and the pencil would fall a couple times, and I would reach over out of the camera, and I would grab like a dildo, and I would put it on the end of the dildo and put some tape on it, and then I would use the dildo to like draw, you know, something like that, and then it would just go off. You know, and people would be like, "What the fuck, man?" You know, just stuff like that, just to make people go like, "This guy's crazy." You know, what are the other uses for a dildo? You know.
That'd be fucking great.
Yeah. Play my guitar. I could play like a song on the guitar. Be like, I'd start the video, and I'd go to play, and I'd be like, "God, what did I do with my guitar pick? God, I forget. Where did I put my guitar pick?" And I'd say, "Oh, this will work." I just grab the dildo and start playing the guitar with the dildo. You know, stuff like that. That would fucking. I think I would get a lot of video people watching that. They'd want to watch to see what my next video about dildos is going to be.
So you are going to do it then, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really think you should. Like that'll be awesome.
I think it'd be what I want to do is like really I think would be really funny if these dildos actually have like a hole down the center of them, and I think it would be so funny to do like one of my first videos where I have my bike and I go out to my bike, like my handlebars, my grips on my handlebars, they're getting all gummy and gooey to where like when you put your hands on them they get all black and shit, and I'd like go out there and I'd go, oh man, my freaking grips are all gross. I got new grips. I'll go get some, and I'll like go in and like go off camera, and then I'll come back out and I'll like pull the grips off and I'll put the 2 dildos on there, and then I'll get on my bike and ride off. You know, just stuff like that. where people will just be like, "What the fuck did I just watch?" You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I came out to my my cousin yesterday. It was pretty good. He was actually really supportive about it. Whatever.
Yeah, that's what's nice about the whole new thing that we got going on now is like, it's becoming so mainstream that when you tell somebody you're trans, they're like, oh, that's cool. You know, they don't really care anymore. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, he ended up apologizing to me for some offhand remark. I don't even fucking remember. And he's like, that's not, you know, he's like, oh, I don't want you thinking that I'm a bigot and shit like that. I was like, I didn't. You know, if he said something like that, I'm probably more guilty of saying some bullshit. That's probably worse on my YouTube channel. You know, I was like, I wouldn't worry about it so much if I were you. I was like, if by not worrying about it, I think I can set the example.
Yeah, that's the thing about a lot of the stuff. Once you tell them you're trans, a lot of times they start going back in their head and they're thinking about like why you didn't come out a long time ago, and they're thinking, I bet it was because I said this one thing, and they'll start thinking about all the fucked up shit they said around you in your presence before, you know, and they'll start being like, I'm sorry for that one time I told you something or something, and you're like, what are you talking about? You know. But they start getting that, they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I said this that one time, and that probably really made you sad, and blah, blah, and they start trying to think about all the stuff they said to you one time that you don't even remember. You didn't even care about it, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me so much at all. And it's kind of funny because my cousin, she's kind of a Tumblrina, right? So we get into heated arguments on her Facebook page. It's not even in private comments; it's in public, where she takes the side of the identity politics, and she's like She's like a white teenage girl, right? And I'm fucking taking the opposite side of the people that she's defending. But I'm apparently one of those people. And it puts her in a very compromising position because unlike most of the Tumblrinas, she stands her own and she'll argue her point. She may not be able to prove me wrong, but she at least has the balls to say, this is my position. She doesn't think, hey, McGee, you think me? So
Yeah.
I try to keep it civil enough, but I'm just brutal. And I don't give a shit. I treat her like an adult. So it's just really funny. Yeah, she hit me up. She's like, she was telling her dad about pronouns and shit. I'm like, oh god. I was like, she asked me, she's like, what are your preferred pronouns? And I get this question a lot. I was like, I don't really care. But if you're going to do it, use feminine ones because it would make more sense. She's like, oh, okay, I'll do that then. And then she was going off about how it's how important it is, and I'm like, it's not really that important.
Yeah.
It's actually one of the least important things I got on my plate.
I've got the ones that usually talk about are the ones that are usually like what do you call them, like the feminazi kind of people that are like trans, but they're also like feminist, and they're just kind of like really dumb.
Yeah,
those are the ones that they really have nothing else to worry about, or they're like the ones that really have like everything in their life is great. When it has to do with trans, like their family likes them and all this kind of bullshit. So they really think like, oh, this is perfect. It's it's great, and then they think like they can comment on all that stuff. The ones that get me are the ones that try to be like an ally to you, where they're trying to tell everybody about pronouns and all this shit, and they actually know nothing about it.
Yeah, so I don't know where she sits on that whole spectrum. Obviously, she's not
Yeah.
trans, but
Yeah,
she,
exactly.
I
But some of
believe
them like don't know very much about it at all, and then they go and they say like, "Oh, you should do this and you should do that, and you should talk about this and you should say this," and it's like, "What are you talking about?"
yeah, it's
You
yeah,
know?
it's just funny. She just make me laugh to the fact that she's clearly trying. I don't know. I don't think she has bad intentions.
Yeah,
She's just misled, and I'm trying to kind of just come back to the light side, bitch. Come on, or the dark side, depending on your perspective.
yeah,
Whatever. I'm bothered by it, but you know, I'm still engaging in a healthy debate, even though I'm a complete dick to her about it.
yeah,
Whatevs.
yeah.
Sorry, we're
Well,
talking over
I'm
ego
hoping
again.
if
We did
everything
that last
starts
time.
going right, I'll be good. You know, that I'll be able to get a. I'm wanting to get my. I had 7 GTRs before when I was here, and I'd like
Hmm.
to be able to get another 34 Skyline again and get my driver's license this year. And hopefully by July or so, I'll be doing a lot better than I am now. I'm hoping. Anyways.
Yeah, it's not because you still can't work until your
No, I
citizenship.
can work now. I can already work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, I wasn't clear sure about that.
Yeah, I can already work now. I just haven't been able to find a job, but I don't really want to get a job right now, and it's hard for me to get a job because my visa that I have right now is only good until April.
Uh-huh.
So it's only good for like 6 months. Basically, right now about 4.5 or 5 months. So I can, if I get a job, it would be something where they would be thinking that I may not be here. You know.
Yeah, aren't the Japanese all about longevity with
Exactly.
employment?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Which makes
Okay.
it really hard for me to be able to do that. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah. And see, I've always wanted to go to one of those cross-dress cafes where all the staff are like they're all male, but they all dress up as girls. I always was
Yeah.
wanting to go there for the novelty of it, not
Yeah.
to like slap some ass. Although I might slap a cute ass if dude's looking good. Like, hey, bitch. Like, don't worry, sister. Me and you.
Yeah. Well, there's like a real famous place in Osaka that's
Mhm,
been I guess it's been around for a long, long, long time, and it's
mhm.
called something Moon. I'm looking for it now. They're friends with me on um, uh, fuck, what is it? Twitter.
Yeah, yeah.
I Yeah, they got a Twitter account and everything, and it's a transgender gay club that's been around, I guess, from what I've heard, for a long, long, long time, and it's called
Huh.
something Moon. I can't remember what it's called. I'm looking for it right now.
Sure.
Yeah, but it's uh, God, I forget what the hell it was called.
Oh, I hate that when
Yeah,
you forget the name of something and it's on the tip of your tongue and you
I'll
need
have
it.
to go to my Twitter account. I'll grab it off Twitter and then I'll put it in
Mhm.
the chat, and then you can check it out. Yeah,
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm surprised that a gay club would have been around for so long in Japan. Don't they have Don't they have I would think that their culture would make it um very difficult to keep a business like that in business for so
no,
long.
that's the thing in Japan. It's really cool. We don't have the whole religious
Oh.
bit over here, so nobody really cares at all about any of that. They're just they don't really care either way. It's like if you're gay, you're whatever. It's you do you, boo. And
I
Um.
mean,
they've been like that the whole time. They don't have the whole religion thing to fuck with them, so they just kind of like let you do what you're gonna do.
Sorry, I think Ego was gonna say something about that.
yeah, I mean, thanks.
Yeah.
After the video you sent me the other day of or the one that you put out about the sort of manga stuff, and you had Rape Man, and that was back in the
Yeah,
90s. So
yeah,
like you can have things like Rape Man and all of these sort of like crazy ideas, and plus you just think to
Well,
yourself,
that was
why?
actually a hentai, though. That wasn't like a TV show. That was like a hentai, for it's like an adult comedy thing, you know.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
I
so
love
it's
I
like
love the
something you
edit
would
of
have
it.
bought at like an adult bookstore. Sweet Moon. It's called Sweet Moon.
Oh, we have one of my tranny friends in the chat in the live chat. Hey, Shell.
Okay.
I see you. I know her. I know her in real life. It's she's cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Copy.
yeah. I was gonna say that the rape man thing. There's an edited version of that where it's like it's someone dubbed over. It's fucking hilarious. That's why I was posting in your comment section.
Yeah, I put it in the sidebar.
Fucking dangling time.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't understand why in 2015, I mean, it's 2016 now, but people just getting aggressive over people that choose to be like transgender or to live their lives is like, I still don't understand. Well, you know, the idea of someone's lifestyle threatening you to the point where you have to aggressively and physically get on them is yet again total savagery. But yeah, you know, people are entitled to think how they want to think. But I you know, a lot of that sort of stuff just boggles my mind. So when I listen to you both or other people going through the struggles or having to deal with certain things, I just think like if you're not harming anybody, if you choose to do whatever to your body or whatever, that's your prerogative. But yet again, I suppose so many people are opinionated to the point of lunacy, and this is highly problematic. You know?
Yeah.
Cool.
Penis. Alex Brown says penis.
So where? I want to see some.
Yeah,
Wait,
it's on the regular thing. It says Shell Terminal.
Yeah, that's her. That's her. Her.
My kind of stream,
channel.
and a smiley face, and then right underneath that it says Alex Brown says penis. And it says you want to go to swag a crossdresser.
Oh, shag a crossdresser. Yeah,
Shag.
I've done it before. It's nothing special. It really isn't.
More than 85% of transvestites are heterosexual. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually explaining this to a potential trainee. Like I was saying, I was talking to someone who's considering transition and not exactly sure. So I was like, I kind of took it on me to because I thought she was already on hormones. She's really feminine. You can see in the live stream that I did, where she comes in with an avatar of her as a dude, and then like she femmed out after that. Just started cross dressing and came out to her parents as I call her a her because you know she does look femme and whatnot. But you can see the fucking difference. I thought she was actually already finished for transition. Like Jesus Christ, you're not even on hormones. You're gonna be looking good, bitch. Let me tell you.
That's the one that makes me annoying when you see people like that, because sometimes they get on like a high horse, because Theron Meyer is like that. She just got on hormones like a month or two ago, you know.
Yeah. Well, she should get off a high horse because she had that jawline, man. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
She has beautiful eyes, but fucking dude, come on.
Yeah. She was not on any hormones or anything. She's just like very feminine, and she acts very feminine and very like uppity, you know. And I can't stand that. That makes me want to like scratch their eyes out. I hate that shit.
Ooh, we got bitch fight here in the fucking here in the stream. Meow meow.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a page I post to occasionally called Stoof. It's run by a friend of mine, and I posted some shit on there. It was some fucking tranny on the show. She's the only trans on the show, and she quit because she was objectified. And like I'll find the thing actually so I can quote it, because I went fucking maximum over savage on that bitch. Let's see. Let's go to Stoof. I would find the screenshot, but I can't be fucking asked. Oh, come on, Facebook. Don't fail me now, you bitch. Nope, it's going to fail me now.
Nah.
it doesn't want to search. I'll get it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Did not anticipate I'll be showing off my fucking shit talking skills here.
Well, I had that Alex Brown on another one of my pages, so I don't know why he's not. I think I added him to my other account, but I don't
Alex
know.
Jones on your pages. There we go. Oh god, how much shit did we post last year? Holy fuck! So I'm just going through the last few days. I'm already like through 30 odd posts.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't realize that we had that much shit going on. Cause I'm an admin there, so.
Yeah.
Oh, this one's fucking funny. The before feminism, after feminism. It's the before feminism picture is a picture of Peppa Pig from the show of the same name, and the after feminism one is a picture of Bebop from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Cat Black shared that picture unironically, saying, "Oh yeah, this is how we." And then someone called Kate Louise Powell shared it and says, "Okay, but this is true." And it's fucking like, you don't understand what the meme is, do you dumb bitch? Oh fuck! I can't find it. Oh no, it sucks.
Yeah, I hate that shit.
Yeah, here it is. Yeah, Real Housewives' first trans cast member quits after being objectified, and my first response was, I like being objectified, and then the page owner, and then they go by the moniker Minds Patch. They said, "You're not the asshole in the article." It says, "No, I'm a way better variety of asshole, ones whose lips aren't crooked," and I just go off from there.
Oh wow!
I was like, she's pretty for someone else to draw on her eyebrows. Did she use makeup to put those dots on her face, or is she terminally ill? See, I don't even know they could dye people's eyebrows. You learn something new every day. It'll be good when she gets the facial feminization surgery because she's got a really wide face.
Man, taking swinging punches, boy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So the pager, Minds Patch is like, her eyes distract me more than anything else. They seem too Disney-like, getting a case of the uncanny valley. And I was like, yeah, those her original eyes, or did she get implants?
Trolling.
I know. I'm just, yeah. But fucking,
Yeah.
I never said I wasn't a bitch. That's the thing. I fucking fully embrace it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just fun. It's just funny. I was just kind of proving how that I do go off for other trans girls all the time. It's not a big deal for me. I'm cool, but some of them just, when they're fucking whiners, man, I just don't want to hear that shit. I'm just like, man, you do realize you're making the rest of us look bad over here, bitch.
Yeah, I sent an invite to Alex Brown to see if I can get him to come on.
Yeah.
He's on my other page, so I don't know why. He hasn't wanted to go live or anything. I don't know.
Sure.
Oh, there we go. Dun, dun, dun. Yo, what's up?
Oh, excuse me. I was gonna ask if not now because he's actually sleeping, but a friend of mine wanted to get on one of these shows.
This is the first live stream, so. Well, I've got 15 others, but they're from the other one. This is the first actual live stream on this channel. So I'd like, whoever's on here will be the first one on the new channel for the new year. This is this is basically the first new year vlog, like live stream, whatever they want to call it.
Yeah. I'll send you his contact information after the thing because he's interested in trans issues, but he's more interested in MGTOW as well, and those two things intersect in this. Yeah. I was like, yeah, I actually know some trans who contribute MGTOW content. He's like, oh, I'd like to get in on that, so I figured I'd set that up live here on air, fucking waste some airtime on it.
Yeah. Have you both watched this documentary that was done by the BBC with your friend Reggie Yates? Because
no, I heard about it though. Everybody's talking about it.
Yeah,
no,
I mean,
some say it's good. Some people say it's not. I've heard all kinds of shit.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it fully yesterday because maybe a couple of weeks ago I only saw the part when he was speaking to Roosh, and it's just basically, I mean, Reggie doesn't seem to know there's a deluge coming his way. I mean, he just doesn't seem to understand. And the thing was, I actually met Reggie when I was basically 16 or 17, And I don't blame people for having, attacking Reggie or whatever. But what's really happened is that with that documentary, I think it's gonna backfire on the establishment in the ways that a lot of men that are not even like speaking on the manosphere, they're starting to see the problems with women, as we all know, and it's like more and more people are going to sort of like transition into MGTOW, knowingly or unknowingly. It just doesn't pay to be a mangina, and
Have you seen the Google Trend stats in the UK? Ever
no.
since the documentary was made, it's shooting through the roof.
Oh,
Basically,
really?
because I've checked the US stats and the UK stats. There's a big decline in the USA for Google, for the search term, but there's a massive growth for it in the UK, and the UK growth is actually made up for the US decline.
Oh.
So
wow.
yeah, so I always like keeping track of Google Trends, just keep track of the growth. Yeah, so it's like a massive spike.
It was bound to happen. It was bound to happen. A lot of guys, a lot of men over here, they're just like, it's just beyond belief. Or most people that don't live in the UK don't realise how bad it's becoming. It's just, as I was saying to someone the other day, women are starting to roofie guys over here. Women are starting to like any excuse to get any little bit of attention. It's past alcohol. It's past, taking a bit of Chaz or whatever. Women are becoming desperate, and they just don't realize that their sort of arrogance and hubris is backfiring big time.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? I want to put this on the record. I spoke to the producer of the documentary for like 2 to 3 hours because I was on the fence. I was always on the fence about appearing in it. So I told them if I'm going to appear in it, I'm going to be totally anonymous. I have my voice masked. But what I did, I thought I might as well completely inform them about the manosphere, about all the different factions, tell them all the subtle differences, tell him all what it's all about. And he absorbed the information. I knew he watched the videos. I linked him to Barbarossa videos, Thinking 8 videos. I talked to him about the videos. He did watch them, or at least some of them. Okay? So the point I'm trying to make is ignorance is no excuse here. They knew the subject matter. They researched it. I talked to them about it. So
I've heard that from other people who were talking to them about it, where they didn't even get featured at all because of didn't fit their agenda.
Look, it was a hit. It was a hit piece. That was all.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I heard from a lot of people, that it was a hit piece. They went and they researched all the stuff that they needed to try to shoot people down, and then they tried to find people to talk to that were like the craziest of the crazy. That's kind of what they do. I talk about that all the time when I talk about the people that like CNN or Fox News, how they'll go to some scene where they've had a fire or something. The only person they get on camera is the one black guy that has like 3 teeth in his mouth, and he's like, "I seen everything, and there's a car come by." He looks like the dumbest motherfucker out there, and that's basically what they do every time they try to make people look bad when they talk about like MGTOW or Manosphere. They'll find the dumbest motherfucker that's the craziest fucking person. They'll put them on and they'll say, "This is basically how all of them are."
Well, it's funny you should say that, because in this documentary, that's what they did with this guy, the guy that was coming in and out of the courts, that was went to prison for saying all sorts of stuff on Twitter. And the thing about it, you can see automatically that the guy has issues, like the apartment that he lived in. You can see the place was disheveled, and that's what's going on. They're sort of like panning to the sort of old stereotype of this sort of peeping Tom behind the bush, sort of like a mental sort of disturbed guy. And you just think to yourself, why would you do that? And I suppose with what you're saying there, Alex, I think it is, and it's like they wouldn't bring someone that's articulated. You see, this is they can't combat a well-spoken and articulated individual that has facts. Yet again, this is why. Yeah, go on.
So well, the well-spoken. I was on the fence about appearing in it until I heard about the antics in Speaker's Corner when they were trying to wind people up there. Yes, MGTOW did a video about it, what Reggie Yates was getting up to, ignoring the MRAs totally, then filming them when they were angry. As soon as I heard that, I just dropped out completely. All the intelligent, articulate people did not want to appear on there. Because all it takes is them asking a question, replying to the question, then it's out of context, basically, and then it makes them look bad. You can edit anything to make anyone look bad. So all the intelligent people are not going to appear in it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, they didn't ask for anything that was like real, like, you know, they didn't ask like Teal Deer or anybody like that to come on. Somebody with like,
Teal Deer.
you know, well, it's like he has like, you know, 106,000 subscribers. I heard they had like that guy Paul Watson on there who was an alcoholic. You know.
There's another thing as well. Barbarossa invited Reggie Yates to appear on his channel for a hangout, and he didn't show up. He was invited. They promised to meet me 3 times because they said we want to meet you face to face. They promised to meet me 3 times. They never showed up. They kept on cancelling as well. So they were not serious about me. The olive branch was actually offered. It says come to hang out, try and convince us, and he couldn't be bothered. It's a lack of respect. They can't.
Well, and Reggie tried to palm it off on the documentary by saying, "Oh, well, you know, I missed one and they didn't come back." But yet again, I think the whole thing about this, like you were saying about the decline in the Google trends in America, I think what's happening with men is like the smart and intelligent thing to do is what men normally do. If there's drama somewhere, you just move away from it. There's no point of talking. There's no point discussing with people that you know are shills. I mean, it's pointless.
Yeah. So, I think it's oversaturated at the moment. There's been rapid growth. There's a lot of, to be honest, there's a lot of people who haven't digested the information, haven't internalised it. They're still operating on the old instincts. They're still lashing out at other men, basically. You've got a bunch of nutters trying to create a new cult. This is what the rapid growth has led to, so I think it's going to lead to a decline. Personally, I think 2015 is a peak for MGTOW. In my opinion, it's going to decline. It's going to decline.
I think it's going to continue to get bigger because we're getting more and more bullshit because of feminists with the man-spreading and all the bullshit they're coming up with. They're coming up with more and more obscure things where they're gonna make themselves look stupid because actually feminists are on their heels right now, trying to like you know, tell everybody like, no, we don't hate men, and they're everything they're saying is trying to do that. And I think eventually they're gonna make themselves look like idiots, you know. So
some more. You should qualify. They already look like fucking idiots. They're just flailing around.
I mean, they're gonna look like idiots to women. Women are already with the man spreading thing. A lot of women are already going like, what the fuck are these people talking about? But they're getting stupider and stupider. Like how they say like, you know, harassment online is just as bad as physical like harassment in person. You know, and rape. Somebody raped me because somebody said something online to me, you know, shit like that, where people are gonna start being like, what the fuck are you talking about, you know? Just shut the fuck up, you whiny little bitch, you know. And they're just gonna start getting pissed off at him and say, just shut up, you know.
But this is what you know, the BBC and Reggie try to do in this documentary, where they're starting to go to the point of pure insanity. It's sort of like word magic, where you ask someone, you know, is a physical attack worse than a verbal one? Is me saying I'm going to hit you, is that actually more terrifying than me actually hitting you? Which one is actually more painful? Which one is it? And the thing about it, most people nowadays, because of the whole PC sort of thing, they wouldn't be able to give you an articulated answer. They can't realize that for me to hit someone to cause actual bodily harm is worse. It's way worse than, you know, how could a woman say to me or any of us, you visually raped me? I mean, it just doesn't make any sort of sense. But yet again, that's what Reggie was doing when he was talking to this feminist woman, and she was showing him, oh, Reggie, oh my God. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
No one came out of it. Oh, it's, you know, they wanted to put bombs underneath my car, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I think it's funny that...
Suck much dick lately?
Well, I think it's funny that they use one of the same arguments that fucking Muslim women use. They use the male gaze argument, which is one of the, that's the Muslim women use that as an argument to wear the fucking hijab and shit like that.
Yeah.
Because they don't want men looking at them. Women are the ones who enforce that in those countries. It's not the men. They don't get to fucking say that shit. They're like, no, we don't want inferior men raping us with their male gaze. And feminists like, oh my god, stare rape.
Well, I've got a nightmare to tell you guys. You know, as I said to, as I said before, this whole world of MGTOW. I've been a MGTOW since probably the age of 5 years old, unknowingly to me. I just don't give a damn about what women say. I've always had women knocking around, but basically, one of my childhood friends, actually found out the other day that I was the one that introduced him to the vagina because we were in secondary school. And there was a couple of girls older than us. I think we were in our first years, and they were year 9 or year 10. So anyway, this girl, she looked like Madonna, actually. She looked like Madonna. So I had my bicycle, and I was able to convince her to come to an alleyway nearby, for a bit of feel-ups. Anyway, she came, and my friend was with me, and he had a hell of a time. But anyway, so what happened was over the years, I've been telling him, look, like, you've got to be very careful about women. They're very deceptive, and even from an early age of 15 I started to see that you just can't trust what women say. Anyway, he basically went and got himself involved with a couple of women. They used and abused him. The second woman he got in touch with, he got her pregnant. I mean, he only wanted to have one child. He's got 4 children now. He's only 31. So what happened the other day was, I knew she was going to cheat on him. She cheated on him years ago. She used to say to him, I don't find you attractive. I wish other women find you sexy. And he actually found out on January the 1st. He went through her emails and everything. She's been going up, to where her family lives, using his money to pay for hotels, having sexual intercourse with other guys. And, I mean, for crying, we don't even know if the last child he has is his. And yet again, I hope this guy does not fall back in with her. And many men keep doing this. If you've been oh well, I mean, yes.
That pussy is like fucking cocaine to some guys.
It's unlocked, man.
Yeah.
Listen, when he had a breakup with her maybe 4 years ago, I went out there and I said, listen, we're going out on a night out. I've got 8 women for you. I brought out 8 women. I said, listen, 8 women here. Come tonight. If you do not come tonight, you can forget about our friendship. I stopped talking to this guy for 4 years. And lo and behold, he's let this happen yet again. Making excuses for her. Saying, oh, the children. Him living in the living room, or why she has the bed upstairs. Why would you put yourself in such a ridiculous and heart-wrenching situation? I don't know what most men are doing. If you can't find an adult, spend some time by yourself. Go it alone. Do what needs to be done to learn. Oh, it's heartbreaking, but yet again, it's not my life, so why should I care? But I do care. That's a contradiction about it. But anyway, let's get into more, lighter conversations. Go on.
Yeah. Well, since Alex is on here, we should ask what's your plans for the new year? What's your resolutions?
To fix my life up. Get a job. That's it.
Yeah. That's it. That's all you want to do for the new year.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's important for me. So, the thing is, I've had a close friend die 2 days ago. And I had a talk with him a few weeks ago, so talking about sorting out my life. So I've got to sort my life out and get it on track for in honour of his memory. So and this friend has done a lot for me, basically. He's been there, I've known him for like 5 years, so he's been there for me in a way that no female would be, basically. so yeah.
Well, good on you.
Yeah, I've got to say, it's a shame that men turn on each other so much, because at the end of the day, all we got is each other, really.
Yeah, well said. Yeah. I'm actually, I'll tell you guys, I mean, long term, the reason why I started Ego Blossom and Simply Handsome, because I see that there's like a pitfall with men and their low self-esteem, and I'm actually trying to bring a situation in the near future where men like ourselves can get together and actually, you know, because I'm studying a programming language called R. I'm quite good at business, you know, putting things together. I know a few CEOs, and you know, as a way, as a trade-off, we'll have men like ourselves that can actually do the work and can actually show productivity and leave the sort of virtual world from time to time and meet each other in a safe environment where there's going to be drinks, you know, people getting awards for things that they're doing. And what we then do after that is start businesses. We have a year, everyone comes out with an idea, you know, people invest money, we go to banks, we go to institutions, we levy money, and we start something that will bring people. And if women want to be a part of that, they've also got to show that they are willing. That, you know, this is why algorithms and all of this sort of things are very good. Based upon your track record, based upon your passion, based upon your enthusiasm, what can you bring to the table? And people have to work on their merit. They have to show things. And I think this is what's eventually going to happen with the world. There's so many men that are just down in the dumps that something has got to happen. And I want to be a part and parcel of the solution, because as Alex said, men should stop turning on each other. There's no need for it, to be quite honest. If you're the gender that does the majority of the work, if you're the grafter, why then would you like succumb to the whims of someone that isn't a grafter? Why then would you succumb to someone that just tells you what to do and they do not add any value? This is why I don't, you know, Turf Blinking Monkey did a video recently about how he believes that men's sperm should be valued more than, you know, eggs. And to be a certain point, I believe the same sort of thing, because when you have your progeny and they are females, automatically, I mean, for crying out loud, my sister's a doctor, and she said to me yesterday, the problem why her relationship with her ex-boyfriend didn't go so well, he comes from a little bit of money, but she wants a provider. She doesn't want to have to work. And that's a woman that I've raised, and she's a doctor, but she admits that as a woman, no matter how high you are, you still want to be looked after. You want to go with money and influence. So if we have men that want to do these things, why turn on each other? It makes no sense whatsoever.
Can I give you a warning about organising? Because men are making the same mistakes again and again because they don't learn from history. In my opinion, whatever you do, whatever you organise, you're going to have very, very strict filtering. Very strict filtering.
Of course.
You got not just algorithm. You got to learn psychological traits, because there's like for example, Messenger Rising. I knew there was something off from him from the start. He had the traits of a tradcon. There were some red flags with him. Then he went nuts. He just went completely nuts. So you got to have these psychological traits. You got to have a checklist. And you can't second guess yourself. You can't give people chances. They raise these red flags. You have nothing to do with them. Because what will happen? These people, they'll infiltrate your organisation. Then they'll destroy it with their antics, with their bad behaviour. They'll try and turn it into a cult, basically. Because this is what men do, unfortunately.
Which is problematic.
Yeah.
And I do find that quite. And funnily enough, I've grown up around many cult-like situations. I've done the preponderance of research based upon my life experiences to know these traits. I might not be able to articulate them, pinpoint as whatever, but you can see it a mile away. And treachery is treachery. But at the end of the day, and as Shi-nu said the other day, you know, there's two types of people, R's and K's, and I researched that, which was quite good. And a lot of people are R's, and I really don't feel comfortable with a lot of R's, I've got to quite say. I don't really feel comfortable around people, not because I don't feel comfortable, it's because I know I might engulf these individuals, and I know that I'm that much inclined to being so red-blooded. But I do understand that if someone's an R, or if someone is like, you know, has some sort of problems, then the best thing for me to do, instead of having conflict with them, I walk away. Henceforth, men go in their own way. So I understand what you're saying, Alex. Thank you very much. Well put.
Yeah. Well, there's the problem. There's another problem as well. There's ideas, and then there's affinity and group dynamics, and there's something called an affinity scam, right? And people usually get conned a lot when they've got an affinity with a person within the same group. So people have got to be wary of things like that as well, because people will go, I'm your brother, I'm in the same group, blah, blah, blah. Then they'll con you without a second thought, basically.
Well, all of that, I get where you're coming from, but this is why, people, even when people say hi, bro, hi, bruv, and all of this sort of rubbish, the first thing that comes out of my mouth is, my mum didn't tell me about you. I've never seen you before. And even if it was my brother or even my sister, I will scrutinize them. So I get what you're coming, but this is in the long term, that something has got to be done. Do you see what I'm talking? Something's got to be done. If it's like, someone gets hired in the next 2 months, they're showing holes in their sort of demeanor, then they get let go of. It's dog eat dog. I mean, simple,
Yeah, yeah. So I think there's going to be a lot of growth in the UK anyway, so we might have new recruits.
Well,
Do you
I
need
mean, not because what it is, look, it's all about, basically, the idea is, which I'm working on. I haven't worked in like 3 years, but the whole thing is here is to bring back, which some people might have a problem with, a renaissance. A renaissance could be an idea where men are vibrating at their highest turn. You know how to articulate yourself. You know how to use cutlery. You're well mannered. You do the dances of the waltz. Nice rhythmic movements. Not of this sort of sexualized, unnecessary filth. We don't need things like that. It is too much. Is the archaic revival, depravity, something that the CIA and all of these guys have brought. So we're talking about having somewhere where men will go back into what made them great: articulation, posturing, good traits. This has got to be brought back again, because I suppose it turns and turns in cycles, but I personally, this is what I'm intending to do. And it's not necessarily about bringing recruits, it's about giving each man the confidence and showing them things that they can do to replicate, to have their own sort of like wealth and their own sort of dominion. Why not? You should be a business owner. You should go out there and show up. You be the exception to the rule. You go out there and show skills, and it could all be done. It doesn't need to be televised. It doesn't need to be promoted. It's just something that will have to happen because men will have no other choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Necessity is the mother of all invention.
Yeah, I think that's a problem that we're having with a lot of the newer people. They're in this idea, this mindset that they have now with all the TV shows that have came out, that they really want somebody to see their good deeds. They don't want to do something unless somebody's watching them, or unless they can tell somebody, like, look what I did. They don't do anything to be philanthropic. They just do things to be like, something for other people to see what they did, and they don't really do it to help anybody or to help themselves. They want to say, like, look what I did, and I think that's really fucked up.
I'll tell you a problem with men, and this is what the Reggie Yates documentary showed to me. What Reggie Yates was doing is what I call gaslighting. He was gaslighting the people. They're communicating with them. This is what drives men nuts. Because when men communicate, people just ignore them and gaslight them, and invalidate them. And that will drive anyone nuts. Right? It takes a very strong character to realise what's going on and to counter it and to push past it. Because if the consensus invalidates you, you're going to go insane. Basically, that's what Reggie Yates was doing to everyone in the documentary. Especially that 18-year-old, very articulate. There was no emotions involved, and he goes, "Oh yeah, he's emotional. He's emotional." Basically, he's based on emotion. So he just gaslighted him, basically.
Yeah. I know a few of Reggie Yates's friends. And trust me, Reggie Yates's friends, right? These guys. He grew up around savagery. These are the same sort of guys having 3 or 4 women, doing whatever, blah, blah, blah. And as soon as, when I saw the documentary, I went to research who Reggie Yates was marrying, who was getting married to. He's not getting married to a black woman. Why? Because most black men know they get trauma from black women. Black women, everyone's against them. I'm not a black woman, so I don't really know. But yet again, Reggie Yates knows this. He grew up around women, sisters. So how comes he did it? Because they were giving him headache. So why didn't he marry a black woman and get with a minority woman? Why? Because he knows it's problematic trauma. This is the same trauma that young guy was articulating. This is the same
Yeah.
trauma many men of different backgrounds are articulating. And for Reggie Yates to overlook that shows me that the guy is somewhat of a shill or a willful idiot or a zombie supporter of the ruling elite. Very simple. But you know, people shouldn't really get angry at Reggie Yates because Reggie Yates is going to get his comeuppance.
Yeah.
Reggie Yates has got a kowtow. He's got a kowtow. And Reggie Yates tries to go on like he's calm, he's tranquil. Bollocks. Reggie Yates is a kitty cat. He's a scared mangina. He's gonna get what's gonna come to him by the hands of a woman. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, he might reconsider his position when he's busy fucking getting raped in family courts later on in his life. So you never know. He'll come back around.
I mean, who's gonna be there to give Reggie Yates a hug? Who's gonna be there? 'Cause men are not very forgiving.
Yeah.
Well, depending on how bad he gets fucking railed in family court, he may end up in a jail cell. So somebody may be giving him a good old hug.
Yeah. Nice long one in the shower.
Yeah, exactly. Don't drop the soap, Reggie.
It doesn't happen in the UK yet, though. Unfortunately, there's no jail for that in the UK.
Ah,
Unlike the US.
No, Jeff, what?
Child support payments. There's no jail in the UK for that. It's in
yeah,
the US.
There's no police state then for that.
yeah. In America, we got people being thrown in jail for almost anything in America because they can make money on it.
Yeah.
All of our
well,
jails are privatized, so
I was gonna make
everybody's
that
trying to
point,
make money off of putting people in jail, and they'll find any reason to do it.
Let me tell you something. The jails in the UK are privatized as well. I was taking some of my young compadres that wanted to learn about, you know, financial instruments and the courts and all of this sort of stuff. And you know, the courts is nothing more than a trading floor. They stopped using government bonds. I can't remember what year, maybe in the 50s or 60s, and they started putting people in jails in record amounts. People going into jail for bloody television license. I've been into court to hear cases on television license, and you know, I was the only one there, and they had something like 78 court cases. No one was there, and it was just like they were just fining people £70, £40. It was just the defense, the court clerk, and the three magistrates, and they were just railroading people on letter. So it's like in the UK, there are many people in prison for silly things, and it's funny when it's sort of like the London riots were going on. You know, people, you know, everyone from all backgrounds were in jail, getting beaten, you know, over the head. You know, someone had a sock. He was in prison. You know, the jails in prison. I mean, the prisons in the UK, they're filled to the rafters now. You know, when I worked in you know, Pentonville prison, I mean, you can only have a population of like 1,200. They were letting in like 1,700, 17. Also because some of the governors were laughing, saying they're making money and every fucker coming in here, completely out of order. So you know, and the family courts. Oh, I know so many people that have been buggered to that. You know, it's terrible.
Oh yeah, I used to live with a guy who I was just telling this story in a private hangout last night, but I'll tell you, I don't give a shit. I used to live with this guy who he's married to like some VP of Oracle, and so when they got a divorce, she got lawyers on retainer, and she had a whole team of lawyers, and he basically had to represent himself, you know, out of his own pocket. And she accused him of like molesting their daughter, so you know he had no fucking chance. He lost custody of his daughter, and he had to prove all this shit. And but when I met him, he was trying to drink himself to death because he had nothing else to go on. It was fucked up. I don't know if he actually succeeded or not. That's the scary part. Like I couldn't follow with that. I've got too much shit going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you got to deal with your own shit sometimes. But it's sad, you know. I get to watch him do that shit every day. It was grim.
And I keep telling people, forget about the court. I was privy to a special case with a man named Michael Doherty.
Mhm.
We went to support him at court. I was the only one allowed to come in there with him because of the way I articulated myself. But I found out that he contacted the police 40 times because there was an older man trying to groom his 13 or 14-year-old daughter. He didn't
Wow.
get anything. Right. He had to contact them 40 times. They came to his house. There's videos online. It was in his boxer shorts with his other missus. They bulldozed the door down. They pulled him out. They arrested him based upon a woman that worked in the police saying that he was harassing her. They found only one phone call he made to her, and that was it. Secondly, they found out that the mother of the child, because she had a relationship with some high-end guy, they were going to give her £50,000 to say all sorts of stuff to this man. This man is now, since then, I haven't spoken to him for a while, was trying to do something called a private prosecution. You go into any courts in the UK or in America and ask them what are the procedures of a private prosecution. They'll have no idea, because a private prosecution basically goes for people that have done misconduct in a public office, for police officers, for court staff, and all of this sort of stuff. And it's a cabal. I try to tell people, don't go over there giving your energy, time, and money to these sausage machines. They just keep churning, churning, churning. And people think, oh, I'm going to get justice. No, it doesn't work like that.
No, it's,
you know,
it's a scam. It's a
scam.
it's a racketeering operation, I swear.
Exactly. You know, I know another man. He's in prison now. You know, they were going to give him 9 months to 6 years because he was disciplining his daughter. This guy lives he basically lives in a castle. He lives on a private road. He used to be a high-end guy in Orange. You know, had all of a sudden now everything's gone to pot. His wife and his daughter completely capsized everything. Yet again. God Almighty, you're not going to be left even with the underpants on your bloody scrotum. It's terrible.
Yeah, they'll take it all from you if they can.
Oh yeah, when I was a young man, I used to think I was missing out on something when I saw all my friends, you know, in relationship and shit, because I was always the one who's passed over and whatnot, and I was like, you know, maybe my time will come or some shit like that. I don't know, but I always kind of held out hope, but I stopped dating when I was like 19, so at least stopped dating women when I was 19, and so now I look at all the shit, like all my friends have nothing going on, and it's sad because I have to look down upon them because they have fucking nothing, and I'm like, well, I have my career and I have really good life. I have shit to show for my time, you know, and they don't. And it's like, well, it sounds, you know, horrible. These are my friends, but on the other hand, it's like I would expect more out of them, and it's because they wasted all their time trying to impress chicks. And like my one friend is in an immense amount of debt because he decided to every couple of years to get a new car because he wanted to be that guy to have the newest shit and whatnot. And I'm like, well, how the fuck are you gonna pay for that now? You're in your 30s, mate. Oh, that's right. You're fucked. It's a good thing you didn't get married. You'd be really fucked.
Yeah.
Well, imagine the surprise of my friend I spoke about earlier on. He got married in August, just gone. Been with her for 10 years. I mean, we told him, don't bother. But yet again, I want to do the right thing. I knew a guy that I was going out with his daughter, and he had 6 children, all women, and his wife. I felt sorry for the guy. The guy, I saw him one time in an Asda's with one of his mistresses. I said, fuck, this is 8 women now. The guy died at 41. I mean, Jesus.
That's like stuff you don't hear about happening with someone dying that young.
Yeah, the guy was 40. This was years ago. He was 41. And this is why I tell men, if you have daughters, mate, it's over. I tell people, if you believe in karma, you must have done something in the past life. So you did something. 6 daughters. God almighty. Oh, I couldn't imagine that. Well,
there was a guy I actually saw. I used to go to school with. I forget his actual name, but I was friends with him. He was always decent to me. He when I went back to England last time, I seen him driving by. He looked like shit. Like he looked like he was in his 50s, and we're the same age. You know, I'm 31. At the time, I was like 25, 26 maybe. and he looked like absolute crap. And when I seen him, he was driving this piece of shit car with all these fucking kids in it. I'm like, man, he was fucking busy. Turns out none of them are his kids. He hooked up with hooked up with some bitch in her like late 30s when he was like in his early 20s, and he's just basically an indentured slave, man. Like, holy fuck.
It's so sad to see guys fall for that, taking care of some other dude's kids.
I know.
Working his ass off so that he can pay for somebody else's kids.
I know, it's awful. I mean, I'm talking to a guy right now, and one of the things that came up was how do you feel about kids? You know, he's like, oh, I like kids. You know, I'm like, okay, cool, I like kids too. You know, if I could have my own kids, I would consider it, but it would be I'd need to be financially secure and whatnot. So we were talking about adoption, and he's actually cool with that. But not a lot of guys are. It's just that he's a training chaser, so he's not going to be getting anyone pregnant anytime soon.
Yeah.
At least not to his partner's knowledge. But I'm kind of red pilling the shit out of him right now. I'm just like, look, I show him all my content. I was like, here's all the shit I do. You should really kind of just research this stuff. Tell me what you think. And he's really receptive to it all. He's like, I appreciate your candor, because it's like not many people would have the balls to tell him any of this shit. They just kind of pull him along.
Yeah.
We got somebody that asked us in the comment section on YouTube if we're waking and baking this morning.
Is that there's Prickled Mantis, yes.
What does that mean, waking and baking?
That means like you get up in the morning and before you even eat breakfast, you're already smoking weed.
Alright, well, technically that is true right now, here live on stream. It's me. But it's medicated waking and baking. I have a doctor's note.
Exactly. But you don't even need one now. They actually, last week, no, it wasn't last week, it was the week before last, they actually quietly and hoped nobody would notice, the government actually legalized marijuana in the United States.
Well,
the federal government?
Yeah.
You know what's going down a pike with that? Well, I know for a fact companies like what's it called? GlaxoSmithKline, if Pfizer is still in business, just like GlaxoSmithKline took over Ribena, they'll have their own strain and they will fuck people's minds. People start tripping out. There's a guy online called Jan Irvin, and Gnostic Media studied a lot of this guy's content. It has something called a brain database, and it, everything leads back to Marshall McLuhan and all of these guys, and what's this moron's name? What's it called? The Bilderbergs and all of these guys, the CIA, and all, I mean everything. This whole the '60s movement, everything to do with like sex, love, and rock and roll. I mean, it's all a massive Ponzi, massive. All of this moronity. So they've legalized it now. They're just going to be making money on it. You've got what's these guys involved? Lobbyists involved, and people will just be becoming more and more docile. Don't know what sort of strain of weed these guys are going to be making, but I can assure you, it's not going to be the one that chills you out. It's going to be the ones that make you like, see, I don't know, the devil. The devil. You're going to be freaking out,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can see it as a way of them doing instigating like mass hysteria.
Of course.
Yeah. And if they do it, they'll probably end up adding some shit to it, so that you have to, they'll get you addicted, because weed's not addictive, and they want you to be addicted because that's what's going to bring you back. So that's what they would try. They want to make sure that you're addicted to everything.
Yeah, that's actually something I was talking to my dad about, because when medical got made legal here in Colorado, he was like, I was one of the first people in my town to get one of those cards, and so he was all like, oh well, they'll just take it away, and and I'm like, I don't think so, man. With the amount of money that the state gets is so immense. I mean, just this last year alone, they made so much money off of recreational weed and all the licensing and shit like that. that they have a surplus. They're actually giving the people money back because they've paid so much into it. And I'm like, once the conservative fuckers saw that, they're like, holy shit, why didn't we do this sooner? Well, we were fucking retards. Like, so they're fully on board with it now because they can extract more money out of fucking saps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, you got to be fucking high, Dad. It's just ironic coming from me.
Yeah.
They're probably going to add that to their gross domestic produce soon enough. As, some of these other countries adding prostitution to their gross domestic produce. I mean, it's all pure insanity, but I've got to love it because it's funny. I mean, think about it. How can you add prostitution to your gross domestic produce? I mean, we haven't got any mining.
You gotta ask Amsterdam and places like that. It's legal in Amsterdam and those places, you know.
Oh God! We brought in, 50 million on prostitution. Oh, things are looking well. Things are looking up.
That's just their gross domestic product. Do they import prostitutes? Then is that how that works? Like we got a great bustling business. They've got to import them from like Thailand and shit.
Well, exactly. Import them from Thailand on these sort of like illegally, and because they don't want them to get kicked out of the country. Well, you're doing prostitution. Well, we'll legalize it so you're not part of human trafficking, which is a contradiction in terms. And just make sure you give us like 80% of your effort, for the bang for your buck. I mean, this is completely and utterly insane. But you live and you learn. You've got to laugh at it, really.
See, this is why I'm just gonna grow my own fucking weed. Sorry, get back to the weed. I don't want anyone messing with my shit and putting in psychoactive shit I don't want.
Yeah. Well, this is what I think is going to happen. They've always been trying to push this narrative that weed kills. That if you legalize weed, children are going to start dying. And I bet what's going to happen is they're going to start throwing shit in weed that makes you addicted, so they can bring you back. And then what's going to end up happening is they're going to end up having that thing that they put in there cause people to die, and it's not actually going to be the weed. It's going to be the shit they threw in there to make you sick. And by doing that, that's actually going to cause people to die, and then they're going to say, "See, we told you all along, weed kills."
Yeah, but have you guys ever seen a film called A Brave New World by Aldous Huxley? The whole thing of Sama. Which is a piss take because it's meant to be manna from heaven, the magic mushroom. But yet again, it's all part and parcel of the mental mind fucking. But yeah, I mean, they've got this on their agenda and it's happening and people are losing their minds now. Imagine when things really start getting bad and then, they've just, conveniently passed a law. Now, you can go to the pharmacy, you can go to Boots, you can go to Asda. And you think you're so trendy, look at me, I'm getting my government weed, and you're just becoming mental more and more, and becoming more paranoid, because natural weed doesn't give you all of that sort of stuff. I saw many guys when I was growing up, they were taking all of these sort of punk, high grade, angel dust, all of these sort of like different makes, and they were acting insane. God. Oh God.
Yeah. Well, like there was a lot of people back in the '80s, like the stories they told of people like jumping out of windows and all that stuff from smoking weed and stuff. And usually what it was is they had a joint that they laced with like angel dust. They'd put fucking, cocaine on a joint and smoke that. So they were basically smoking crack, And they'd do shit like that and then jump out of a fucking window, and then it's like, yeah, of course, you're going to get all fucked up from doing stupid shit like that.
Yeah, this is why I just want to get my own seeds and fucking do it on my own. That way I can just control what I take in.
I'm sure if it happens long enough, Monsanto's going to get in on it and they're going to take away those seeds, make it to where you can't get seeds.
That's why I want to get them sooner rather than later.
Yeah, Monsanto will have something to say about it, and they'll try to fuck with everybody.
What?
Oh, I've got to apologize. Shi-nu, sorry to cut you in there. The video on the BBC about our food or them genetically modifying foods, I can't find it. But if anyone out there knows what particular episode it is, they should put it out and send it to people, because as I said in the video, they clearly said that they have these seeds that they put in the clouds to make it rain. So the people that thought that weather modification was bullshit, well, they just said it on the BBC. They confirmed that they've had this technology for ages. And the second thing you see in the video was that they had acres and acres of tomatoes, of all sorts of foods that were growing without any soil. They were all grown on some sort of petri dish mixed with a little bit of oil, and they have thousands of ripe, juicy fruits that never go off. So therefore, the things that we're eating in the stores, I can bet with a over 90% chance of accuracy that every food that we eat, even if it says organic, is total and utter bullshit, right?
Yeah, most of it is.
Yep, absolutely. It's seriously just same thing as paying for brand name clothes. We're paying for the name. You're not paying for the actual thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not cool what we're going through nowadays. I tell you, the companies want to get you, both coming in and going. You know.
Do you want to look at Barbarossa's latest blog post? He's got a new blog post. It's about how they're trying to rebrand traditionalism by making it fun. It's quite interesting. Yeah, I'm reading a blog post right now, so I've posted a link in the Hangout.
Where I can't seem to find this Hangout window that everyone's talking about. I mean,
it's going to be in Google. If you're on a PC, it's going to be on Google Plus.
Well, I'm on a Mac, but I mean, yeah, I'm hearing it, but I'm not seeing it.
It's going through my phone, but it's not going through my
I'll put something here. Yeah. Someone putting. Is everyone seeing that? If you can put it there,
yes.
That'd be great.
I've been posting a couple of links I've been seeing this morning. One of them was what was it? Fucking, you guys remember John Oliver saying it's 2015, it's the current year? Well, someone started a petition to get him fucking fired from his job and replace him with a woman.
Oh.
Basically, he's literally asking for it, to borrow the rapist analogy.
So where's this link with Barbarossa's? Wait a minute, is it here? Oh.
Shedding of the ego.
Brilliant. Got it. I've got it. Thank you.
These people, they're our enemies as well. They're our enemies, and they're insidious, and they're doing this consciously. They're trying to sell us our destruction, basically, because they don't care. They don't care about men. So, yeah.
That's par for the course. They don't really give a fuck about men, especially women. Feminist women and women in general, they don't really care about men unless you can give them something. If you got money and you got a job and you got shit they want, then they love you. If you don't, then you can go get fucked.
But I think these guys are worse though, the traditionalists, because they're like, do you know what they remind me of? Like, do you know Wormtongue from Lord of the Rings?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, they pretend to be a friend, they pretend to be on your side, they're whispering in your ear. Basically, that's what they're like. They're like Wormtongue. They're snakes. Disingenuous snakes. So,
but because I've met a few CEOs and high flyers, and for some reason there's an idea that a lot of these CEOs are like psychopathic. I don't know about that, because these guys are total manginas. I mean, these guys, dance to the beat of their wives. I mean, you think to yourself, wait a minute, and a lot of the guys that I meet that are high end, like high up and everything, they don't know many things. They're not sort of like privy to information that, I mean, we might be privy to. I'm assuming, we're privy to the same sort of, being on the internet all the time, looking at information. They're not very privy to it. So it makes me think that a lot of the ideas that, being a trillionaire or a millionaire is a bad thing. But think about it. Imagine if someone now, was a millionaire, and he liked some of the, what's it called, the sort of idea of MGTOW. And let's say he's been listening to, all of us, and then all of a sudden he donates something like 30,000 each to all of us without any sort of, you know, you've got to do this, you haven't got to jump through hoops, then isn't that a movement of using money or using wealth to back something that you believe in, even though you can't come into the public sphere to say it because you'd be demonized? Because a lot of the guys that I meet that are high end, these guys are servants. You know, they're manservants to their wives. And this contradicts the whole idea that these guys are some sort of like psychopathic, you know, they're all encompassing, they have all of this power. It makes no sense when you look at it that way.
Well, it's like they say that the leaders of our countries are men. Well, these men are typically married. You know, don't tell me when they go home and their fucking wives are like, oh yeah, because you lead the country, I'm gonna totally let you get away with murder. It's like, it's gonna be the exact opposite. It's gonna be because you lead the country. Now that's basically power by proxy.
Exactly, and a lot of people don't take that into consideration. That because those guys, that generation, they were under the illusion as well. I mean, I studied the origin of marriage. You know, I studied the origin of British poor law back in the 1500s and what it is and how people supposedly were back then based upon the treatises I've read. To me, it was all government induced to get people to do what they wanted. They needed to do something. They brought up an idea of marriage. And when a lot of Christian Bible bashers speak about, you know, marriage between man and woman, even when you talk about Adam and Eve, there was no wedding ceremony in the Old Testament. Nowhere. So how then could you have a marriage? The only wedding I can remember was the marriage feast of Cana, and that's in the New Testament. So meaning that you can't have a ceremony when you haven't defined the word marriage and said, well, Adam and Eve, yeah, man and wife. You don't have this. And yet again, these are a lot of the problematic things I'm finding day-to-day people, and they say these things not realizing that, look, there's many pitfalls in a lot of their arguments, you know. So as I'm just saying, a lot of these guys, they're dancing the tune of the vagina, the golden uterus is in full effect, and these guys love it. And I have no problem with that because I'm not the one that my life is going down the shitter. But
Yeah.
it does affect us all to a massive level.
I
Terrible.
wanted to see what you guys had to say about this stuff. I was going to throw this up on the stream and see what you guys had to say about it.
Why you talking to that guy last night? I wasn't. Listen, don't talk to God. Listen! Why you talking? I'm not playing. I'm not playing. What are we doing? Oh, we're filming. We're filming. Texting that girl again, huh? I wasn't cheating at you. I saw that picture. I wasn't cheating at you. I wasn't cheating on you. Serious? Are you serious? Are you serious? Are you serious? Don't do that shit.
See, I've seen quite a few of these, and it's, I mean, granted, they could be manipulating it for fucking views or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the thing is I've never seen any of these ever that they've put up where the guy actually is like somebody stops the girl.
I've seen ones where they where people will actually start recording footage and laughing at the guy for getting the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous, you know. And the women are like, oh, women are all the victims, and it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit.
Yeah, the Doolittle model is fucking ridiculous. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
It's demonstrably true, and they don't want to fucking hear it.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, it's demonstrably false, not true. Fucking
Well,
totally new for me.
Well, when I see things like that, I know that. See, yet again, this is it. It's the double bind, or the what's it called? social, what's it called? Social, I can't remember, but anyway, it's like you're sending contradictory messages to people, and you're basically seeing how these people, these think tanks, are doing these things to get sort of like views, and it shows you how mentally ill most men are. Because when it comes to women, I have no qualms to say this. You can't hold a woman responsible for anything because they don't have the same. They don't have honor. They don't have loyalty. It's the same as if it was a woman's world.
I've got to disagree with you there, because actually holding people responsible has nothing to do with honour. Holding people responsible is to do with punishment and consequences. And
All right.
so basically, and it does work on women, actually. So just like it does work on men. You just punish them.
The reason why I say that is because, as we all know, if you go and study the works of Aristotle or Plato, a couple of them have said dealing with a woman is like you're dealing with an adolescent child. Like because they haven't been held. What woman do you know is held to be responsible? I remember a time when they were talking about closing Holloway Prison because they didn't want women to be in a prison because it's too much of a hard thing. I actually went to Holloway Prison for a few work stuff. They had a swimming pool, they had hairdressing stuff. I walked in there, these women were whistling, come to do this. All I'm saying is they wanted to have this like a day walking place for women because they believed that all of the crimes that they did was crimes of passion. So that's why I say words like honor, words like being true, these are all things to do with gallant stuff. And even when you think about when the old people used to say, oh, when are you gonna make an honest woman out of her, meaning that before you married her she was dishonest. Think about the language. So that's why I'm saying the reason why when I see these things I hold the men responsible, because it contradicts the idea that men are the ones pillaging, doing all sorts of nastiness, because you can't expect a woman to stand up and tell you what's right. She's conflicted based upon her sexuality, based upon her the chemical imbalances in her body. This is why if you had a society based on women, and it was women, you had a group over there and a group of women over here. If those women were having a tough time, or someone try to come in there and destroy them all, they will pull out the white flag straight away because they don't have it in them. They will go to anyone that will shelter them. So you can't expect honor or those sort of principles that men typically have or say they have.
Well, have you guys seen that movie, the one with Jack Nicholson, where he?
Because you got to understand it on the system, right? It has to be backed by punishment of some sort, basically. So
that's what I mean.
There has to be an incentive, Like Raging Golden Eagle actually made a video about this exact subject.
You see, that's what I mean. It's skewed when you don't hold women. I mean, if any one of you has sisters, when you were growing up, who used to get the brunt of the beatings? The women, boys. What was the rhyme? Boys, what boys are made from rattlesnakes and whatever, and girls are sugars and spice, and all that is nice. This is the hypnosis that now, when you see a woman pummeling a man in public, most people assume he deserved it.
Yeah, it's I find it fucking funny how pervasive that childhood fucking saying is, because it's like drilled into you from the beginning. It's like, no, that bitch was being mean. Oh, but she's a little girl. She's fragile. And she was kicking my ass. Oh, well, you're just a pussy. No, she's a bitch. You gotta fucking do something about it. Nah, they ain't gonna do fucking anything.
There you go. There you go.
I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie with Jack Nicholson, As Good as It Gets.
Yes.
My favorite line in that movie is that one where the guy asks him, the girl asks him, how do you write women characters so well? And he says, I just think of a man, and then I take away their
logic.
Yeah, their logic and their accountability. You know, it's fucking awesome. Fucking great. That's the best saying ever, and so true. You know.
I mean, who's ever, because I grew up basically thinking Sean Connery as James Bond was my father, and you know he was interviewed many years later. You know, this famous American host, and she said, you know, you seem quite misogynistic. You know, do you think it's right to slap a woman? And he goes, well, yes. He goes, yes. He goes, sometimes it's right to slap a woman because even when you give them the argument, they still don't want to let it go.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen there's a video going around of this this guy. He like hits up this girl on Instagram, and his girlfriend, and eventually his wife, just doesn't fucking let it go. She brings it back up during like the most inopportune times. It's fucking great. He's like banging her from behind, and he's like, yeah, you like that, and she's like, you know who would like it? That fucking bitch from Instagram. I bet she likes it from behind. Yeah. And it's like, and
Really?
It's a parody, but it's still fucking, it's so fucking true. You know, because the best humor comes from truth. And it's like there's another sketch for his it's the same couple at their wedding, and he's like, the priest is like, do you take blah 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 to be your lovely wedded wife? And he's like, I do. And she's like, well, you know who would do? That bitch from Instagram. And it's like at a fucking wedding. And he's just like, come off it, really? They'll remember shit, just like they're like a memory bank of fucking stuff that they can use to piss you off later.
Yeah, that's how they do. It's amazing how easily they remember shit like that. They'll just continue to remember shit and then later on bring it back up so they can fucking use it against you.
Yeah, it's Bill Burr has a thing about that. I love him. He's fucking great. Oddly enough, that's one of my.
I've got to go for now, so I'll definitely join one of these things later. So.
Okay. Yeah, I do them every Saturday at 11 p.m. I start at in Japan time, 11 p.m. It's like almost 1. It's almost 1 a.m. right now here. So.
Okay. I'll speak to you later.
All right.
Well. Cheers.
Cheers. Talk to you then. Yeah. Black Sin Impeccable wants to get in, so I'm gonna see if I can send him a link.
Hang on. Did the chat stop working, or I think my browser may have crashed. Hang on.
Yeah, I know. Mine keeps crashing too. It's really annoying. I keep having to like go out and come back in and stuff. So the chat continues to work, but the browser doesn't. So.
Okay. Yeah, I finally just got caught up. My chat did.
Black Sin Impeccables. But how do I fucking join this? LOL. So I'm trying to see. I don't know that he got on my here.
Lost Signal actually brings up a point in the it says domestic abuse cases are always fucked because no matter if a woman is beaten by a guy, she will always defend the man. Fucking I used to see this when I was walking on to school every day. There was this, like, I used to walk pretty much the same route to school, and there was this one chick I saw like pretty much every morning for like 5 years, you know. And she basically like Renelle Zellweger if she was fucking crying all the fucking time, and she was always like walking the same route to fucking go get her cigarettes or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But you could clearly tell she was an abused woman. She was just had the shit kicked out of her. And I would just look at her and I'm like, Jesus, man, I would never want to be that I would never want to be that bitch, you know, and probably make good choices. But then when I went back to England in 2008, I've been out of high school for 8 years at that point. I graduated, at 2000. So I seen her fucking again. Same fucking bad time, same bad channel. And I'm like, what the fuck, bitch? All right, now you're just taking the piss, all right? Come on. Grow a fucking pair. I hate to say it, but that's a little bit much. I mean, you're kind of the arbiter of your misery here.
Didn't you talk to her?
No, I couldn't talk to her, dude. I have no respect for someone like that. Fucking, I hate to say it, but I don't. I mean, it's like you can walk away at that point. You know, if it's every fucking day, you know, you're like that, and it's something really that bad, then maybe you can do something in your fucking life to change that. I mean, yeah, sure, maybe the guy's gonna come after you, but it's.
Well, I agree.
It's the risk you take.
I agree with you. I mean, I've seen so many times where men are abusing women, and I'm a sort of individual that no one should be putting their hands on anyone. There should it's there's no need for all of this sort of stuff. I mean, keep saying, you know, it was last year, it's 2015, it's now 2016. Come on. Now, when people are acting like savages and they're putting hands on each other, then you have to agree that you're somewhat of an animal. You're somewhat of a savage. Agree, you know. Admittance is the first road to recovery. So all I'm saying is, right, there's a situation where you have someone like, you have a woman, and, you know, for some weird reason, the women that I've met, you know, from all different roles of life, they seem to have an idea about an alpha male. What I notice about women is they just want some sort of drama. They want to be used and abused, like the majority of them. It's quite insane. I was telling some of my guys that, listen, I've always had more women than a lot of them, and I said to them, it boggles my mind how many times the woman just wants to have an argument so you can fuck her like you hate her. Right, pardon my friend. Then, and I was telling these guys, I used to tell them when we were 19, I said, there's something wrong about this. Oh, strangle me, you know. And then when you say to them, there's something wrong with this, they think, oh, just because you're getting more sex, what are you talking about? Then I say to them, they want to be dominated. Then you listen to a lot of these high-flying women. They want to be dominated. Then you think to yourself, wait a minute. If she wants me to be acting so aggressive, how many more times? Because she will tell you, babe, why don't you do me like you did yesterday? So they'll try to hit you. They'll try to get you angry so you can replicate this sort of like a aggressive sexual act. I keep telling guys, you've got to question the sanity of this individual. Unless if the whole idea of women being nurturers, the whole idea of women being weak, you can't have them both. And, you know, I think a lot of these women, they like being, like, it might sound weird, they like being violated in the sick sort of way.
Yeah, they do. I think that's the problem that a lot of the guys are finding out about. Like, a lot of the guys don't want to date women anymore because they watch all these, like, amateur porn and stuff like that, and they end up with, like, finding out how nasty women really are, and then these women can't get dates and stuff, and it's because most men are looking at women now thinking they're nasty.
I don't know if you guys have heard of this radio channel called LBC, and it's basically a radio channel here in the UK that they just talk on it. So they had the host speaking about 50 Shades of Grey, and oh my God, these women, you had 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, some of them saying, you know, their clitorises haven't been tingled this way since I don't know. And I just thought, Jesus Christ. Then you think to yourself, how are you getting excited of some sort of guy that's basically, I haven't watched the film, but he's, I don't know, he's mistreated the women, so I've heard. But yet again, women would go in groups to the cinemas to watch this together.
It's like
weird.
Twilight as well. It's like where you get like the daughters going for like the fucking, you know, the teenage fucking hunks or whatever. They say teenage, they represent teenagers. They're like in their fucking 20s and 30s, right? And for fucking, then you get the mothers going, right, of the fucking daughters, and they go with their fucking daughters to go perv on the same fucking geezers. I'm like, holy shit! I'm like, man, what are you not getting at home, bitch? Maybe you should reevaluate your life.
This is why I tell all men. You know, if you're going to get involved with a woman, done all my life. Number one, when you get there, you've got to be emotionally unavailable. Number two, you fuck her like you hate her. Number three, make sure you leave no traces. You know, if you have a condom, make sure the condom's intact before and after. Number four, I mean, you just basically got to be a ninja operating with these women, because you don't know how to. And the thing about it is, I remember several occasions. This is how, you know, I've become so, you know, hardened to a certain point where you have a woman, and she will try to tell you, oh, babe, the condom broke. I think I'm pregnant. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. And I used to
I had that exact thing happen with my second girlfriend. It was funny because she didn't realize I was actually when I would go to the bathroom, I would actually fill the condom with water to make sure it didn't fucking break. I was sort of really on top of it, and I was also sterile as well. You know, so there's that as well.
Imagine.
Impossible.
Listen, I used to tell women, I used to say to them with no qualms, I say, listen, you need to make your way to the morning after tomorrow, or I'm going to push you down the staircase. And the reason why I used to say this, because I know, because they were testing to see if I was a soft touch, you see. And I know that because I knew men that will sort of say, oh, yeah, okay. And the next thing you know, these women are not pregnant. The next thing you know, then they are pregnant. Because the guys, what? And I keep telling guys, and yo, how can you say that to a woman? Because I had many women, 3 or 4 women, just a couple of years ago. One woman said to me, just impregnate me. I said, how could I do that? When I was like 16, 17, another woman,
fucking disgusting.
She was actually pregnant by another guy, but she said to me, there's something that's happened to me, but if you tell me you will be with me, I'll sort it out. I said, no.
God, man.
That's
so fucking crazy.
Shit.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so crazy.
And I used to try to say this to my male friends, but they didn't want to listen. They didn't want to. I used to tell them, and, you know, soon you know, you'll agree with me. When women start sexually molesting men, when they want to get some of that dick in them, Jesus Christ, it's like they're obsessed. It's like,
yeah.
Well, my second girlfriend, from what she told me, it was fucked up because we only dated for like 2 weeks, and after that, fucking, that's when she decided to pull this bullshit. And she took me to a public place, so if I would freak out, it would be people to watch. I know how this whole thing works. But what she didn't realize is my mom made sure that she educated me on how pregnancy tests and shit like that work, so that fucking women wouldn't play this bullshit, or at least I'd be prepared for it. Excuse me. And so she took me to do this shit, and she will start crying her crocodile tears and whatever. And my response to that was, well, I was all just arrogant about it. I was like, yeah, so it's not mine, you know, because I knew fucking damn well it couldn't be. And she started flipping the fuck out, hitting me and shit. And I'm just laughing at this point. I'm just like, whatever, bitch. And I was like, I just told her 2 words that fucking just changed her fucking tone. I was like, yeah, I'm sterile. And she's like, what? And I'm like, I'm sterile. And she's like, no, you can't be. I was like, no, I had a test done when I was 16. And she's like, what? Basically, I had someone else falsely accuse me of pregnancy when I was 15. So I wanted to see if it's actually possible, and it's not. So I was like, whatever. I got over it. But then I was like, so who is he? And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, no. If you're pregnant, who the fuck is the guy? And she's like, no, it has to be you because blah blah blah. And I'm like, no. Pregnancy tests don't fucking, at the time, didn't work within fucking 2 weeks of fucking. So I was like, best case scenario, even it would be impossible. But then on top of the other thing, she's like, oh, you know all this shit, and the tears just instantly stopped.
Yeah. And
I was like, so who's the fucking guy? And then she cries crocodile tears again. Oh my god, yeah, I was with some guy before I hooked up with you, and I just want someone to take care of me. And I'm just like, oh, so you're just looking for a sap? All right, we're done.
Yep.
Fuck
exactly.
out of my life. I was like,
well,
you'd be surprised how many times stuff like that ends up happening. Is like the common thing that women, a really easy thing that they do is they will say, I'm pregnant. And then they expect you to go ahead and just start fucking them with no condom on, and then they'll get pregnant, but they just want to trap you, and they figure like they'll just say like, oh, I'm pregnant, and then you'll go, okay, and then I guess I don't need a condom anymore, and then they end up getting pregnant. It's a common thing they do all the fucking time.
Oh yeah, it's sick, man. It's just ugh. I was like, that was the last woman I ever dated. I tried to hook up when I moved to the U.S. because I moved out. I moved out of England shortly after that, but it was fucking ridiculous. When I got here, I basically could only get jailbait because I looked so fucking young. They thought I was in like high school or even fucking middle school. And I'm like, I'm like 21, dude. I was like, I shouldn't even be talking to you. I like not going to prison.
Yeah.
So get the fuck out of here. No, thank you. And
I was just in a live hangout not too long ago. Like I was on a hangout actually this morning for like 12 hours. I was on it since 11 this morning, and this girl came on, and she was like a manga lover, and she was only 16. But when she came on, she had this little girl sound to her voice, and we were there was like 5 of us on the call when she hopped in, and she said hi, and we were like hi. and she started like saying like, I really like manga, and that I like all the characters on this stuff, and like the way she was talking, she sounded like she was 8. We thought she was just like a little tiny girl, and we were talking like about, you know, like MGTOW and all this kind of stuff, and kind of like, you know, sex and things like that. And we listened to her talk for a little while, and we were like, how old are you? And then she was like, oh, I'm 16. And I was like, oh my God, she sounded like she was like 5. I was like, what's wrong with you? You know. And I was like, she was trying to sound really cute and really petite and stuff like that, and I was like, oh man, she's one of these baby talking girls like I always talk about in Japan. These Japanese women that are like 35 that try to sound like they're 10 because they think Japanese men think it's cute.
It's not. I don't find that shit attractive. I don't know about you guys.
No, I don't either. But a lot of Japanese guys do. A lot of Japanese guys like their wife. They'll have a wife that's like 40 and she still talks like she's 7. It's like, come on, dude, that's not cute. That's creepy.
Yeah, that's. I got some Sarah Nyberg going on there.
Yeah.
Black Sin wanted to ask that question. Have you seen it about what do we think about people that say MGTOW's a religion?
Well, it is in some ways. You know, especially with the MGTOW monks, when they start saying like, well, we have this, you have to do this, and you have to do this, and you have to do this to be a MGTOW. And when they start doing that, they've turned it into basically a religion, you know, because it's supposed to be men going their own way. You're supposed to be doing what you want to do, and going your own way means whatever it means in that person's life. You know, like for me, I'm a musician, I write music, I play and do stuff like that. So my idea of going my own way is just not dealing with women and writing music. For somebody else, it might be building engines and cars. For somebody else, it might be like gardening. It all means something different to whoever is doing it, and you can't have a a manifesto of this is what you have to do to be a MGTOW, you know, and that's what they want. And when you start doing that, you're turning it into a cult. And that's what a lot of these guys want. You know, it's a MGTOW cult.
It doesn't
It's all
need
about
a fucking manifesto, though.
I didn't catch any of them. Sorry.
That's it. Speak up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
It doesn't really need like a fucking manifesto. It just needs common sense, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just people deny it, and no, it's people call it like a cult and all that shit, but it's not. It's just common sense.
Yeah.
Just because someone like says shit that you don't want to hear doesn't make that person in a cult or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
No, it's just a demonization tactic.
Yeah.
Because then I hate to fucking cite Sandman on this. I think Sandman was the one who said it. That feminists call MGTOW a cult. So that way they basically put up their defenses so you can't call them a cult, even though they have an immense amount of cult-like behavior. It just basically looks like he said, she said.
Yeah.
You can't win that fight. They know
first. We said it first, so we're true. You know.
Honestly,
Yep.
this as a whole, this online community is probably one of the most open places.
Huh?
Like, to be honest, yeah, like. You know, these fucking SJWs and all that. Yeah.
I don't even know what an SJW is. I mean, I've been hearing of this, you know, I'm
Marxist, basically.
Oh, okay. Who are they? Because I'm not really privy to all of these sort of things.
What the fuck? The YouTube chat keeps freezing.
Really?
Yeah, I know that Google sucks with their browser.
Maybe your bandwidth is fucking up because mine's still going.
No, it's. I think it's because Chrome doesn't work very well with with dynamic content, and I had Twitter open, so that may be locking up the browser.
Ah.
I'll get off Twitter if I was you, mate. It's too dangerous. You're going to get arrested.
Oh yeah, it's I don't really.
No, they
use it
wouldn't
more
arrest her
so.
because she's transgender. They only do that to men and gays.
That's right.
Yeah,
They-
you got to be a man. They would never do that to a transgender woman. because that
No, they
would-
shadow banned me for hating trannies, apparently.
Yeah,
Even though I am one myself.
yeah, they would make they would think that would make them look bad. So they only do that to like men, you know. Yeah, you got to be a guy talking about women, and then they're like, oh, he's making me feel bad. My feels are hurt.
Yeah.
My fifis.
Yeah,
I can't believe that
my
this guy, Paul Wilson, I think it was Paul. I mean, we follow each other on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, but he said like he lost his job like because they thought that his content was a bit like sexist, racist, and all of this sort of stuff, and you just think, yeah, Paul Wilson, and you think to yourself,
discrimination much?
I've got to say something. That Paul's an idiot, though. He brought it on himself because what he was doing, he was getting drunk and doing rambling videos.
yeah.
All the time.
So, like getting drunk is
Yeah, but he was doing some really batshit insane ones, and like women are demons and all that nonsense. So of course he's going to get in trouble. What an
Yeah.
idiot.
because funnily enough, he was on the Reggie Yates thing. I saw his face on
Yeah.
that. And I,
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus.
that would have been it.
He didn't have very nice things to say about it. I didn't know he was actually on it.
Yeah. It was hilarious. Like I was saying, it's a tactic that it's a psychological tactic that a lot of places use, like CNN and Fox and all these guys. They'll bring on, like I said, like if they have a fire or they had a gun shooting or something like that, the only people they talk to on the block are like the dumbest people out there, so they can make it look like this area is a bunch of idiots. So they'll talk to like some lady, some bag lady with like 3 teeth, and she'll be like, "I seen everything," and you're like, "What the fuck? These people are crazy." And that's basically what they try to do. Can
I give some advice? Because for anyone watching, be very careful what you say on Google+. If you're getting drunk and doing stupid things, you can get in trouble. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it for like showing off to like a few hundred viewers. It's not worth it at all.
Yeah.
You can ruin your life.
Yeah.
Of course. I don't know why. I don't know why most people now. It's like, growing up in an era, all of us should remember, without the internet, you don't say things that are like over the top. And now that where the law is completely debased, where it's just like Minority Report. I mean, for you just to say something online and then to be in prison, you've got to know there's no rule of law. So you're completely right. People shouldn't be saying unnecessary stuff. I mean, demons and all that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what people are playing at, but you live and you learn, and sometimes, woo.
Yeah, I would never get on a video and start drinking and like say a bunch of stuff when I was drunk. That's just asking for trouble.
I've done that, but it was completely by accident, and I felt like an asshole for doing it. I
mean, it's all right if you tell everybody you're going to do that, like Jenna Marbles or something, when she does like her ratchet salon and stuff, and she gets drunk. That's kind of funny. But if you're going to talk about something serious like MGTOW and shit like that, and you're going to get wasted and start saying like women are demons and all this stuff, you're going to get people fucking with you over that.
Oh yeah, now I feel like you're attacking me, dude, because I did that exact thing.
Yeah, you're asking for a slap.
I've taken down all the videos that show my face now. I'm not going to show my face online anymore, basically. 'Cause it's not worth the risk. It's stupid. So.
Yeah, well,
one thing I ask all people to do, like men, women, whatever, is actually to, like, if they can, like, study law. Maybe not as in depth of knowing the whole history of Blackstones and whatever. But the fact of the matter is, like, I've been in many situations where police have been sent to me. When I went to court a couple of years ago, I tried to take HSBC to court for £700,000 and all of this shit, and I was trying to pay with a promissory note. But It was basically like, you know, even though the judge said I could pay with a promissory note, but whatever. But they had a police round. But the fact of the matter is, it's like, if someone was to say, this is why I find a lot of people, they're just getting themselves into trouble. If someone was to make a claim that you did this, you did that, or you said something towards women, then the fact of the matter is the police are not there to just come in and make a claim based upon what you said and said that they're the injured party. You just can't do that, you know. And the thing is, once you say, well, if you can bring me the woman that said this, then show her and make her, you know, write statements. But yet again, we know that it's all a Ponzi scheme, so people might not want to go through that thing. But all I'm basically saying is the burden of proof stands on the individual that makes a positive statement. So it's like, you know, a lot of people shouldn't be really scared, because I know a little thing about, you know, the sort of world of like policing and all of this sort of stuff. I can tell you now, unless if you're a person of interest, unless if you've done some, you know, you've stolen information from some government, these police officers or these people, they haven't got any time for you. And if you're sort of an individual...
I disagree. I disagree, because the police have got targets to hit. They've got to get convictions. So if they see an easy case to deal with, a petty easy case to deal with, they'll go for it. And the thing is, even if you're arrested and you found innocent, you can still lose your job. So you have got a lot to fear, actually.
Wait a minute, Alex. So that what I was going to say is, before you interjected there, when they know you're an easy touch, when they're dealing with an individual that makes them run around, and the individual says, listen, based upon what you said, Mr. Officer, or whoever you are, you have now got, you say, who bears burden to prove this? It's you. They don't want to be doing all, they always go for easy touches. That's why a lot of these guys go and arrest people that have got mild cases of like people with Down syndrome and people that can't articulate, because that's the easy way to get them. That's the easy way. And you're right. If you do have a job, look, if anyone has a job that has a family or all of these things that could be, you know, jeopardized, first of all, you've got to contact people you work with. But if you're going to have a job like that and then go online shooting your mouth off, well, you're taking a risk. We know this. We know that. So I agree with you on that aspect.
My point was,
pardon me, say that again?
It's still not ethical to discriminate like that. Just
exactly. Views. You're right, but yet again, men, or you know, good men are not sort of piping up. They're allowing these things to happen, you know. And it was nice to show up at court for a few of my guys that were men. You know, maybe 5 or 6 people show up. Everyone else wouldn't be there. I mean, if it's happening to one of us, it will happen to all of us. And people need to start, you know, being vocal to say, do you know what, instead of us even arguing and shouting, right, there's you know, let's say I don't know, McDonald's or something, everyone goes to a certain McDonald's, instead of everyone standing out there picketing and boycotting, you just don't show up. You do your thing, you know, men going their own way, you just don't show up, and then they get affected because you're not paying in to their skullduggery.
McDonald's, how wonderful.
Yeah, I like that.
Breakfast now, though.
I was totally being sarcastic.
Yeah.
This is a serious channel. You can't be sarcastic.
Really?
No.
Even Subway's
totally serious, man. We got to be like totally serious. No jokes. You hurt my feels. I'm triggered.
Oh, you best go on your Tumblr then.
Yeah. So let's see. We didn't ask Black Sin now. What are you gonna do this year? What's your plans for the year? What's your resolutions?
Oh, gee, I don't bloody know. Nothing. So I've got a lot of things I've got to do. A lot of things I've got to get organised. I'm not going to say anything. No, I got too long to explain it, and I really don't want to do that. So, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the first live stream for this channel, and
Oh, I didn't know that.
I'm since it's the new year and everything, I'm wanting to see what people wanted to change in their lives and what people wanted to do for the new year and
It's
all that
yeah.
kind of stuff.
It sounds like them asking like at a job interview, like, why do you want to work for this company, or some other random vague open question like that. I don't fucking know.
No.
And
Yeah.
this is why MGTOW can't be a religion. This is exactly why. Because people don't want to participate in anything that is just too cumbersome on the mind. You know, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, showing up at this time, doing this, doing that. People are naturally adverse to that stuff. And I like what Black Sinner said, even though, you know, I don't mind answering a question, but this is why MGTOW can never be a religion, because I even think that even if MGTOW was to go away, the name, people think my biological father has been a MGTOW since what, for about 30 years now.
Yeah.
They don't. So it's like, it can't be, most men will just stop showing up, and that's how you know that, you know, they're going their own way.
Yeah, well, that's the thing that's happening here with the herbivore men. You know, a lot of the herbivore men are just stopping to show up, and people are like, well, what do we do? What do we do? You know, and they're starting to freak out now here because of that.
There's a problem with a lot of the video that you put up of the boys, you know, destroying their father's moped. I mean,
yeah.
That was too funny, but the way they were like little boys. They
Yeah. Well, like I told everybody, they were like, wow, those kids need to get kicked out of their house. And I was like, those kids are over 25. Those aren't kids, those are men, and they're acting like they're 10. And that's a typical thing in Japan.
What were they saying when the blonde-haired one was unboxing the PS4? He was elated. What was he saying?
He was saying it's my present. He said it was a present, and he found it. So his mom or dad might have bought it for him or something like that, and he went down and got it and brought it upstairs and was like, yeah, you know, look at this, you know, and then he put it on the table and then he showed it to his friend and he was like, it's like, where'd you get that from? And his friend was videoing it, and his other friend they were gonna play the video game together, and they were gonna like do like a live stream type thing, you know, with it. So they were getting online and trying to figure out how to hook everything up and all that, and he was all cocky about it because he's got his PS4. And then the dad came in and just broke the fucking thing. And then they did another video where the dad, after he did that, the dad left the house and went to like Lawson to get some like drinks and food or something. And then he came back, and when he came back, they snuck downstairs and broke his bike. And then when he came outside and seen what they did, he said, "What did you do this for? Why did you break my bike?" And he's like, "Because you broke my PS4." You know, and he says, "What are you talking about?" He's like, and then he pointed at the what do you call it, the sledgehammer. He pointed at the sledgehammer, and he's like, that was expensive, you know. And he's like, this bike was expensive. This is how I get to work. He's like, this thing costs more than your PS4, you know. And he got all mad at him, and that's when he reached down first to pick up the big iron bar that the kid was breaking the scooter with, and then he looked and he picked up the handle, and as soon as he picked that up, that's when he started like, you know, smashing the ground, and he was telling him like, "This is expensive, are you stupid?" And he starts telling him a bunch of shit like that, and that's when the other kid threw the lights and the plastic pieces at him. And as soon as that happened, he was like, what are you throwing at me? You don't even live here, you know. He's like, what do you think you're doing, you know? And then that's when he started chasing him, you know.
I mean, it reminded me of the Planet of the Apes. How when they were pushing the television, it looked retarded. I'm sorry to say, it was like, and when the old man smashed the PS, number one, they lived in cramped conditions. I mean, God Almighty.
Yeah, that's typical of Japan, though. That's typical homes.
when the guy was throwing a strop and he was kicking his legs in the air, I said, "Oh my good God!" I mean, and
He acted like he was like a little 5-year-old kid in a grocery store that didn't get a package of gum that he wanted.
right, and outside in front of the bike, like when the dad was fessing up to him, he was sort of like spinning away from the dad, turning his back from him. And I
Yeah.
was like, this is like child. Even the father was going on like a child. If you're gonna clap your son, or you're gonna punch someone in the face, or drag them to the floor, you do it. I just thought,
Yeah,
this.
that's not something they do in Japan though. They don't learn, even the parents. They don't learn how to like hit. They don't spank their kids. They don't like beat their kids up or anything like that. It's mostly all words. That's why he chased the kid with that stick, but he would never hit him because he would end up in jail. So he just like tried to scare him. So that's all it was about. It wasn't actually about him actually hurting his son or anything like that. They just hurt each other with words in Japan. So he was saying like, "You're stupid and you act like a little kid, and you know you broke my bike and that's like 5 times more expensive than your stupid PS4." And you know, he was just saying stuff like that to him, and that's enough to like make him feel bad in Japan. They don't have to hit him. They just use words.
No, but please,
Right in the
That's
fifis.
less than $2,000.
Yeah.
That's not much. An electric bicycle, like a
Yeah.
piss weak, like electric push bike, is more expensive than that here.
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Oh,
please,
So that PS4 in Japan is only about, you know, maybe $200 or something like that. And his scooter that he broke was like, that's about an $800 scooter, and then the hammer that he swung to beat it up with was probably like $50. So they broke like, you know, almost $900 worth of shit for a $100 PS4. You know, $200 PS4. So that's why he was pissed off. He's like, it's not even the same. You know.
but please tell me that the other video that you put up about the children learning with their tops off and having to be tough. They're not doing that in 2015, are they? They can't be.
Not in all of them, but many of them, yes. Many of them.
Still,
Yes.
still up to today.
Yeah, that's kind of a common thing. They treat schools in Japan a lot like the military, like in America. They try to break the kids down because they don't want kids to be their own person. So they get them into this thing where they're kind of they're abusing them, really. You know, they're making them study. They're cold. They're hungry. They're making them study, and they're saying you have to do your homework, you have to do your schoolwork, and then they're studying like 16 hours a day. They're tired. They're cold. You know, and then they can basically mold them into people in society that are going to do what they want them to do. So it's really a sickening thing that they do here to children.
I thought my school was bad. Jesus.
Yeah.
But, I found out from my mom I was actually intentionally held back from advancing forward to let the other fucking retarded kids catch up, and I'm like, well, that sounds like your problem, nigga.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
that sounds like first world problems. That's not my problem.
You know? Yeah. I'm just. Well, I mean, I could have advanced like 6 grades ahead if they would have actually fucking let me test out, but they didn't. They were like, no, because you think differently, and we're gonna punish you for it. And so the punishment was putting up with that bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, way to fucking make your future worst enemy, guys. I mean, have you ever seen a fucking supervillain origin story? That's like the beginning of every single fucking thing.
Yeah.
That's like how Lex Luthor started. He started because of he wanted to try and do a good thing, I think it was, and then Superman ended up saving him, and he didn't want to be saved, and he ended up getting bold, and he's like, well, gotta fuck it. I'm gonna be a villain now. Fuck you.
Yeah.
How dare you try and ruin my life goal, you son of a bitch. What hair?
Well, that's what happens when you lose all your hair. You know.
Mm-hmm.
You become a villain.
Oh yeah, if I lost a hair, glue-on wigs would not be an option. I'd totally rock the Captain Picard do.
Yeah. Got to become a villain.
Yep, and the villains always have the fucking the more fun, man. The superheroes are like, oh, you know, we got to be wholesome and good. Maybe not Batman, but fucking you know, something like Superman or the Flash or some shit like that. But like the villains, they have all the fucking fun. They're the ones, you know, going out and killing people, and you know, okay, maybe it's in games, maybe it's fun, but not in real life. A little bit messier.
Well, you
That's
notice
why.
when you watch all the things like Batman and Robin and stuff like that, they're always on the offensive. You know, like the guy, the like mean guy is always the one getting to do everything. He's always the one like trying to tear down the city and do all kinds of fun stuff and blow things up. And all they do is run around trying to stop all the bombs and stop all the shit from happening. And it's like he gets all the fun. You know, they get all the fun to go around and like blow shit up and fuck with people's lives and shit. And then he has to go around and like clean up all the mess.
Yeah, I mean, how many people would say like, "Hey, I own my own fucking giant mech," right? They're not going to make you have a license for that fucking thing. I mean, how are they going to? Just blast anyone who questions it.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. So I'm playing Minecraft this week thing, and I nearly just killed myself. Shouldn't have jumped right into lava.
What do you think about the Wikipedia?
I seen something on my YouTube page or on my Yahoo page. They were talking about Minecraft. They were saying something about. I didn't look at what they said the other day. It was pretty crazy.
Alex, we can't hear you. You came in low.
Have you heard about the Wikipedia page for MGTOW?
Yes.
No.
We managed to get one up. I looked at the old deletion page from 2006 and all the excuses. They've really cut the page down. They've cut a lot of it out, but the page is still up. So this is quite a big success. Really. Do you think it'll help?
Someone was you sound washed out, but I can hear you a little bit.
All right. Yeah.
It's someone was telling me this in the private hangout last night. They were like, "Hey, we have a page on MGTOW now on Wikipedia," and I was like, "Oh God, trusting Wikipedia as a source." Here we go. But he was like, "No, it's actually really good. Don't knock it till you actually read it." So I'm going to take the time.
Well, there's the original version which has been archived. It's been cut down a lot, basically. And they did try and delete it as well, just because, basically. So I think it's going to stay up for a few months at the most, in my opinion. It's going to be taken down. But what needs to happen, if it gets taken down, there needs to be outrage over it, and it needs to be publicised. Because Wikipedia is a joke now, basically.
Ah, yeah. They've been a joke for a while. I don't know if it's now a joke.
Yeah, well, certainly the past 5 years, yeah. It's been co-opted. That's the problem.
Yeah, wasn't there an operation by feminazis to go in and fucking start putting feminist dogma in articles on purpose?
Yes.
Hmm?
Yes. Yeah, they're in contact with the organisers of Wikipedia. It's all arranged. They've got a cosy relationship. This is what they do all the time because this is what makes them so effective. They're proactive. They're busybodies. They barge in. They boss people around about. They demand stuff, and they get shit done. You do get shit done. You've got to give them that, even though they're a new. Yeah.
The thing about this Wikipedia page is already it states there, like, you know, this BBC television personality Reggie Yates did a documentary. I mean, are they taking a piss? The Reggie Yates was recent, and they put that as part of info. I mean, look,
it's good though, because can I tell you what he's done? Last time I looked, it says he tried contacting them and they refused. Don't you see that makes us look powerful, actually? And it makes him look foolish. He tried contacting us and we turned him down. That's what it says when I last looked, a few hours ago. So we're powerful. We said to the mainstream media, you're not good enough. Bye-bye. We don't trust you.
It does say that here Brits who take part in the manosphere here also attempted to contact MGTOW, but none of them could be reached for comments. I mean,
none of them wanted to be reached for comment.
Yeah.
They knew you were doing a hit piece. You know?
I mean, what do people think about this on this call? I mean, men actually demanding, like, you know, screaming out, you know, hear us roar. Do you think? I mean, I've never seen men do it before.
Yeah.
Could they start now?
No.
No, because they'll be seen as violent. They'll be seen as violence. That's why.
Yeah.
They'll be arrested.
Yeah, the MGTOW manosphere doesn't have a big red. You know, we don't have an Anita Star TV, and we don't have a big red.
You can't have a big red for a man because a man doing that, he'll be having shit kicked out of him.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's what I mean. Can we not have that? It will be retarded to do that.
Yeah.
Just be calm and rational.
That's another one I'd like to do, though. I'd like to do a parody of that, like where I did it as a MGTOW, where I would say, like, I would start saying things about women, and then I would, instead of saying misogyny or patriarchy, I would say misandry, you know? Matriarchy. That's matriarchy. That's misandry. Shut
They'll
up.
probably
Let me
take
talk.
that literally.
Let me talk. You know, like that. It would be awesome.
They probably won't understand the fucking reflection that you're doing because they don't understand. They don't understand like the meninism thing at all.
Yeah.
They don't.
No.
Exactly.
I could get a
Exactly.
red wig. I could get a red wig and put it on, and then get problem glasses and do it. You
And
know?
they still wouldn't get it.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you guys think about this hit piece? This sort of Lifetime actor guy, I can't remember his name now, but it's basically that they're doing all of this sort of pieces and posts that, you know, like the white man should be stopped.
Oh.
That, you know, the white man now is the cause of all the scourge of the earth. And these people are insane, and this guy that did it is a white male. I mean,
you would know, right? He's guilty of doing the thing. He's accusing everyone else of doing.
It's just too much. People, and this is like, and I'm sure most women will see this. Well, he's a man, so yeah. About, you know, it's like, oh my God. I mean, what do people think about this? I mean, this is insane.
Yeah, it's ridiculous the shit that they're coming out with, and I was just watching that movie Idiocracy the other day, you know, or Idiocracy. How the fuck you pronounce it? I can't actually. I'm terrible with enunciations.
Idiocracy, yep.
Yes, okay, I did get it right. Okay, so I was watching that, right, and people have been urging me to watch it because they're like, it's not supposed to be a documentary. I was like, okay, there's gotta be something to this, and I watched it. I was like, Jesus Christ! I was like, this is actually happening. I was like,
well, imagine my horror when that film came out, and I went to the cinema with a couple of my friends, and only 2 of us out of about 10 of us saw that this was actually what was going on, and everyone was laughing. I was like, this isn't funny. This is what's going on.
Scary shit, yeah.
It was going now with that. You can't say anything to everyone. Has got some sort of a can't say this, can't say that, can't say this, can't say that. What adjective are you going by? Blah blah blah. And I was saying the other day, like they had this in Sliders. I think it was it Sliders? There was an episode that they did this where years ago, you want to have any sexual contact with a woman, you've got to have a representative. You know, how are you going to finger me? What way are you going to do it? What positions are you going to do? Are you going to sweat? Are you going to do? I mean, and it's getting to the point where it's becoming ridiculous and idiocracy. Oof. It's terrible, you know. But if this is what needs to be done or needs to happen for change to come about, then yeah, I mean, you know, it's just going to play to our advantage at the end of the day, hopefully.
I don't know, the future's scary, man. Especially with
Yeah, I think so too.
I
don't
really
see of any way where this is going to get better. It's going to get much worse before it gets any better.
It's going to get worse before things change.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to explain this to people in the anti-feminist groups that I'm in. They just didn't want to hear it. They're like, no, you're just being a naysayer. I'm like, how's it going to get better? I'm like, explain to me that. I was like, if you think it's going to be better, how? And they're like, oh, I can't predict the future. I'm like, I can't either, but I'm being more fucking realistic than you are.
Yeah.
You know?
We see where it's going and where it's going to get worse, and they're seeing like, oh, it's just going to get better. It's all rosy, and no, it's not unicorns and snowflakes, people. It's going to get worse.
We're in a war, a culture war.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, I think the only way it's going to end up getting better is when it gets so bad for normal women. Like, normal women can't find boyfriends. Nobody wants to marry them anymore. Nobody wants to give them kids anymore. That's the only way that normal women will start to stand up and start fighting for men's rights and say, like, look,
Still won't happen. Still won't happen.
There won't be enough of them. There won't be enough of them.
Because you know why? It takes self-reflection for them to realise that. So it won't happen. They're too solipsistic. It's not going to happen.
I agree with that point there. Just not in there. I mean, they haven't been raised. You know, sugars and spices, all that is nice. I mean, it goes again to that. Everything majority of women do, they have this God complex about it. And even when you speak to them, you know, the brightest women I know, they still fall to this idea that, you know, how could it be, you know, when I used to tell women, I never thought that women farted, burped, or picked their asses. And they said, what? Are you being for real? To me, because my mum never ever did that. So I didn't think it happened. But then when, I'm sure most men maybe thought, you know, women didn't do that, they would have sort of better sex. And imagine, like, you're surprised she's doing all sorts of shit. And, like, you're thinking, huh? Like, you know, it's a shocker. But they'll think, well, we know that men do all of that. Yeah, of course, because this is what's televised, that men are pigs and sloths. And then now you find out that women are bigger pigs and bigger sloths, so they're hogs. And you think, oh, you know.
I love the fucking analogy. It's great.
Yeah. I mean, that's how it is. And trust me, I mean, this is how I've always spoken to women. But I don't see it as a negative thing, because it's just my opinion based on what it is. I mean, people might I don't know why they'll get offended. If someone says something to me, that's just their opinion. Based upon what I've done, then I'll say, well, maybe I can change on that, maybe I can't. But you're just having a discussion. There's no need for this sort of, like, you know, cotton gloves and all of this sort of, like, you know, soft stuff, because there's, you know, I'm not threatening anyone, no one threatening me. We're just having an open discussion. So women being pigs or sloths, it's causing problems. A lot of guys can't deal with it, you know. They can't deal with it.
You know what really pisses me off about this thing is they call it laddish behavior. And I'm like, it's not laddish behavior if women fucking do it. It's just behavior. Because it seems everyone has the potential for doing that. It's not men's fault that women behave a certain way when they do things like that.
I just don't like it when they, you know, it's not. I don't really care, but when they basically say, well, it's all right for us to do it because men did it. I mean, you'll think to yourself, if you found it negative for a man to do it, and then now you're doing something that's negative, that you complain about that, isn't this a bit of a, you know, that's a faux pas right there? But they don't see it as that. Well, men have been I mean, for crying out loud, another female friend of mine is telling me about her friend. You know, she's got a husband, a son. She was from South America. She moved over here. You know, he's a gaijin or a white guy. And, like, you know, she didn't really want to be with him, but, you know, she thought whatever, I'll take her away from a South American country. I mean, for fuck's sakes, this woman's cheating on the guy. I mean, the guy went on holiday. She brought her boyfriend, this moron guy. I mean, tapping her in their marital home while the son is being babysitted by the mother-in-law. You think, what? It's like, and the thing about it is, at no point would any of these women say to their female friends, come on, this is out of order, or come on, I'm going to stop talking to you for this behavior. You know, it's like, I just don't, look, I mean, I think I've ranted enough today, so I'm going to be off because I've got to go out and all of this stuff. But I'm just shocked and livid at the same time to think that this is going on in 2016. Everyone's meant to be smart. Everyone's meant to have gone to uni. Everyone's meant to have, you know, reading capabilities, and yet the double standards is too much. It's revolting.
You want to talk about revolting? Someone asked in the live chat, has any one of you guys had to clean a girl's bathroom? Yes, I worked in a nightclub for a year, and the women's bathroom was constantly more like devastated than the men's bathroom. It was also like 7 times bigger, which is bullshit.
Yeah.
It was disgusting.
Yeah, I worked with my mom when I was in high school, and she was actually a bus driver, and she also worked at a grade school and then the high school that I was going to as the janitor. And I would go help her, like, do the gym floors in the summer and all that stuff, and I would help her every night sometimes go in and, like, clean the school and mop the floors, and I would help her out doing that kind of stuff. And then she would give me an allowance, and we would go into the girls' bathrooms, and it stunk way worse than the boys' bathroom. it was just nasty, you know, just gross.
And another thing, you know, when I did work in the prisons, I've actually seen a cell, you know, men beating each other up, cutting each other. That's one thing, but women doing it. I think I mentioned it the other day. The whole cell was red. They don't know how to stop. I mean, you've never seen brutality. You've never seen murder, like a woman murdering someone. It's just like horrid. It's just like you think they did a Picasso or something, and it's so like it was just the whole thing was like red blood. Oh God, everywhere from the ceiling. So you know, women, you know, good for them, but men. I hope more men listen to this and realize that they've just got to be strong in their convictions and not fall prey to other people's. And what really pisses me off is a lot of the older men, a lot of the fathers that are going through this plight, and they don't say anything to the boys, and they try to tell lies, and you have people that are not living rosy lives, and then they see their sons or their daughters, and they tell them, you know, you should get married, even though it's obvious that the marriage isn't working for you, but yet you're still, you know, a lot of people are being gaslighted into, and men are being white feathered into taking responsibility for another. I mean, who will do something like, you know, looking after someone else's children? I mean,
can I quickly interject? I want to make one point. You can't take responsibility in a situation where you've got no power. And oh,
yeah, you're right. On the technicality, you're very right. But the perception is that men have the power. The perception is there is this thing called power.
Yeah.
But
who controls the family? Women.
Well, I mean, this is why, yet again, I was just thinking to myself last night. The reason why you have men constantly being railroaded is because once you have a system that doesn't hold women accountable, they know that everything is going to be subsidized by men, even if the guy's on his last buck. They then cannot take that money train, which is, you know, defunct at this moment. They can't take that away because they used women to topple the man. So the man will work in perpetuity as a slave, but the majority of these men don't see that coming. So, you know, the responsibility part of it, on the technicality, yeah, I do agree. But what's going on is we know that the system is rigged. And this is why, like, society keeps churning on the way it churns on. Because there's this false perception of power. There's this false perception of someone being responsible. And if it's only men being responsible, well, so the men are going to get it in their head.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, I've got to shoot off. It's been lovely. I mean, next time I wouldn't say so much, but you know, getting a bit.
I think it was good.
Getting a bit frisky. So have a good morning.
That's what I want. You know, I do these hangouts every Saturday at 11 my time. But I hope to start doing like 3 or 4 a week, where I won't just do MGTOWs roundtables. We'll talk about other stuff, but stuff from the manosphere and maybe like news and stuff like that, kind of like Honey Badger style kind of thing. So I may start doing like 3 or 4 a week, and then do one on Saturday. That's the MGTOW roundtables.
All right, bro. But you guys, thank you very much again for the venue. You be well, everyone. Take care.
Yeah,
Sure.
Good.
Cool.